They try to silence the truth we shout, but we're still here, we're still calling out. Corruption hides behind a badge of name. We light the fire, expose the shame. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. The stories echo, the pain runs deep. For stolen lives we can't just weep. Elected power but their hearts are cold. We'll bring the truth, let it be told. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for heroes, undo the harm. Calling out corruption, we'll stand tall for justice and truth, we'll risk it all. My life mattered is the cry we sing. Together we rise, let freedom ring.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Friday Night Lies. I'm Catherine Page, the founder and host of Social Change Warriors, our movement to stand for, research, and help victims' families find justice. For many of them, it just doesn't come. And they have to find a way to go on with their lives and move on. And we know that because someone in your community, Just on Roots family, is not finding justice. They have, I believe, exhausted all of their court efforts, and we are incredibly sorry and sad for them. And I don't know, maybe there's something else that can be done. I'll look into it next week. I don't know much about what happened with the end of that situation with the courts, but my heart hurts for them. I know it's been a long road to justice. So we stand for the victims and their families, regardless of what the outcome is. And but welcome back to another Friday night. And as you can hear, the Doberman Zeus is welcoming you. His papa is in the garage cleaning fish, my oldest son. So this may go on for a little bit. I apologize. I'll do my best to squall it when I can take a minute while we're watching a little bit of the testimony. I'll see if I can go appease him a little with a doggy treat. But this is the part of life of owning pets and dogs. So when we live stream, they're still here. Anyway, it's great to be back. Great to have all of you tonight with us. And whether you're here live and you want to chat with us in the chat box as a social change warrior, as a justice seeker, wonderful. I'm always welcome. I love your comments. I love your questions. If you're replay, thank you so much. I really appreciate any attention that you give to our small startup channel and helping me to call out all of our victims' names and their support their families any way you can by sharing out their story, sharing out their injustice on your social media platform. Tell your friends to share. The more voices, as you all know, who live in Massachusetts or follow the Karen Read, John O'Keefe passing, his murder, you know how much community matters. You know how much it can matter when we do it takes a village, because that's really what it's all about. And our hashtag is just us, because sometimes we're only left with ourselves and a few people, and sometimes that can blossom and grow, like what you saw with the movement for Free Karen Read and Justice for John O'Keefe. I hope we can get something like that going for Ellen Greenberg in Philadelphia, where, by the way, there was just a plane crash about an hour ago. I don't know much about it. I was preparing for this. It flashed up on my screen on my computer. So wow, we just had one terrible, horrific. 67 souls have passed away. This happened while we were live streaming on Wednesday night. So I talked about it a little bit last night when we did our update on Ellen Greenberg, but it's tough. So anyway, we are back, Friday Night Lies, and we have covered Katie so far, the firefighter paramedic. We have covered most of Chris Elbert, and we ran out of steam, even though we set a record for live streaming last Friday night. I think we might have broke the record though on Thursday night, because we had James Jackson as our guest last night, and we might have broke the record. I mean Wednesday night. I think we broke the record Wednesday night. So I'll have to look into that. But who knows what's going to happen tonight? But let's not try to break the record. Let's try to be civil here tonight and not go too much over 2 hours. So we're going to finish up with Chris Elbert, and we're going to launch into Julie Elbert, our Dunkin' Donut queen, and see what she can tell us and what she doesn't tell us. That's what we're looking for, right? More what she doesn't tell us. And we're looking for, did she tell the truth? Is she being evasive? Or is she outright lying? So that's what we're trying to talk about, just those three things. And then we take a poll, and then I put the poll up on Twitter, and then we find out what everybody has to say. So I didn't do the poll last week because we weren't done with Chris Elbert. We ran out of time. So now we'll have two polls that'll go up on Twitter this week, one for Chris and one for Julie. So thanks everybody for being here. Hey, Julie, craziest person on earth. Great to see you. Got to take my glasses off. So I need glasses for distance, but I like them for this far away from the computer, because when I look up and around, then everything's not so blurry, but I can't use them for up close. So that's why you're always seeing me taking them off and on, because in order to read the comments, I can't wear the glasses. So happy Friday, puppy. Hey, Zeus, Julie says, happy Friday, and please stop barking. Yay. Okay. So anyway, let's just talk for a minute. Is everybody, okay? I found out just today, one of my neighbors told me that one of our neighbors here, not in my specific neighborhood, but in the Ormond Beach neighborhood, which is just a tad to my north, just a mile or two to my north, there's three communities right in a row here. There's New Smyrna Beach, there's Port Orange, South Daytona, Daytona Beach Shores, Daytona Beach, Holly Hill, and Ormond Beach. And it's all just boom, 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 boom. And he lived in Ormond Beach for 10 years, one of the pilots, and I guess was neighbors, and had gone to Embry-Riddle, which, if you don't remember this, two of the 9/11 pilots were actually trained at Embry-Riddle and flew, sorry, pardon the pun, but flew under the radar big time. So I don't remember their names right now, but Embry-Riddle is a very important, prestigious airline pilot school and other jobs to do with aeronautics. So it's very famous here, and it's right in Daytona Beach. They have planes that you can see them all set up when you fly to Daytona Beach Airport, these little white planes that have Embry-Riddle logo on, and that's all of their flight instructors, to train the pilots. So that was in the news here today too, in the Daytona Beach Journal. And so condolences to anyone who's watching this from my area, or the whole state of Florida. That is a tragic loss for this community, as well as all of the other 66 and their communities and their families. And the skating community, I talked a little bit about that last night. If you're interested in the video that I showed or what I had to say, you can check out our library and watch beginning of last night's stream. We did another update on the Ellen Greenberg, what I believe is a murder. So that was last night. So anyway, welcome again, everybody. And so let's just dive into it. Hey, DB, how are you? Yeah, that's a question I can't answer, DB, but I'm happy to talk about it off air. So thank you. But thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Let's see. So I don't exactly remember where we left off. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's pull up share screen. Oh, I forgot to tell you all. Amber is taking a break for a while due to her son was in the hospital, and it's been a lot. So other things that we have dealt with here at Social Change Warriors has been a lot as well, with some of the harassment that's been going on online. So it's been a little rough. So she's taking a break. She was modding for us Wednesday night with James Jackson, and we're very dear friends, and we will continue to be dear friends. And I hope she'll come back when things settle down and we're not so in the middle of a hurricane storm with several harassment issues that are going on online. It's really a shame, because it's taking away from time from the 7 families that we've been standing for, as well as we have a new survivor of domestic violence we're standing for today. And I'll tell you a little bit more about, I told you a little about her last week. I'll tell you a little bit more about her at the end of the night tonight. So let me find what we want to start with tonight is day 8. So let's pull that up. Let's share that. And you guys might have to help me remember where we left off, but I only think he had about 20 minutes of testimony left. So is that the right one? Did it pull up day 8 for me? Yep. So I'm going to just go forward here. And I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to pop back into the room. So when I say that, even though you can see me, I can't see you. I'm in this little studio area now where I'm pulling up this video, so I can't see you guys. Okay, great. I'm going to make it bigger for you here in about 2 seconds. And let me go back to it. So this picture kills me. They're in front of John O'Keefe's house here, I believe. I believe when they showed this at trial, this was when John was out of town, and they were messing with him because they knew how much he loved his lawn and that he was really picky about his yard and his lawn. And they said they were joking around and being, goofy, but I didn't really think they were that good of friends with John. So typically when you do something like this, you're really good pals, good buddies. And so I mean, maybe they were more so than what was led on. I don't know. I mean, that's something funny that my friends would do to me, or that I might even consider doing to my friends. So I didn't find this to be that off or telling. I don't recall what they really used it for. Maybe one of you can type in the chat box and tell me. But okay, now where were we? I think first let me go to the fan and figure out. Okay, there's Julie. So right? Is that Julie? Yes. Okay, so I'm not positive, guys. So let's just back it up. I think we had about 20 minutes to go. So I want to say we were at about 5 to the hour. So we'll just start there, and you guys let me know if I didn't go back far enough. But I think I did. So before I hit the play button, I just want to make sure everybody's okay and doesn't need anything. Yeah, it sure is. Not to mention taking away from what's going on in MA. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, DB. I appreciate you. And you can get a hold of me, DM on Twitter or email. I'll put my email up. You can reach me any way you would like. Let's see here. Yeah, they were taunting John because they're assholes. Yeah, probably. I really do not think they were friends. I really don't. So you're right. I think that was more of a gotcha, trying to be funny. You know how when people like rip on you and then they say, just kidding. Nah, maybe just a little kidding, but mostly wanting to be a jerk to you. That's pretty much how it is. And unless you're all just doing it, right? If it's everybody's in a free for all and everybody's joking, you're out having a beer or two, and the insults are flying in total fun. You can tell the difference, right? You really truly can. So, okay, let me go back and start this up. And I wrote down a couple notes from last night to remind myself too for Brian Albert's testimony. If you guys think of anything that stood out to you in anyone's testimony, just send it to me in an email or a DM on Twitter X or the PMs over on Facebook, because I want to try to point those out or be prepared to show we don't always look at every single second of the testimony. It would just take us too long. I'm trying to highlight. We were able to with Katie's because it wasn't terribly long, and with Chris too. And I don't think Julie's might be a little longer though. We might not do every piece of it, or maybe Julie would. I hate to have to push her to next week. I'd rather just be done with these two so we can get going on more, really more of the big ones that are going to be coming up. So, all right, I'm going to hit play. I'm going to speed it up. You let me know if I've got it. If it runs too fast, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to follow. I'm going to try it at 0.75 to start out, and we'll see how we like that. Okay, guys? Make sure I hit the right button so I don't advance this too.
Correct.
Type in the chat box. Can you hear this okay? And I'm going to make it bigger too.
Or what is Nevercracker?
Oh, this one.
What is Nevercracker?
Yes.
Like the character?
He knows exactly what it is.
It's a character in a cartoon.
I'm so sorry. I
called
feel you.
Monster
I
House.
have two bad shoulders too. I had surgery on one.
And would you agree with me that Nevercracker in the movie Monster House was this kind of old curmudgeon who didn't want anybody on his lawn? Correct?
Yeah.
The character, yes.
He was the get off my lawn guy, correct?
In the movie, yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the movie, yeah. He's not going to admit to that.
Nickname.
Okay, that's a lie.
nickname
Lie number one
for
tonight.
John O'Keefe.
Mr. Nevercracker.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. And
Finally, a truth.
your wife, Julie, actually had John O'Keefe plugged into his contacts as Nevercracker, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you were there one time when Julie showed Karen Reed, her phone to show how John O'Keefe was plugged in as Nevercracker, correct?
I believe so.
And this whole nickname started because of a conflict that Colin Albert had with John O'Keefe.
Not correct.
John O'Keefe complained to you about things that Colin was doing.
Not correct.
He would tell you that Colin used to throw beer
Lying, right?
cans or beer bottles in his bushes, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. That is not correct.
John O'Keefe told you that Colin used to flip him off, correct?
Not correct.
And say F you to him.
Never.
Colin used to cut through his yard.
That was Dylan.
Oh, now he's passing the buck to Dylan. I remember that
You
now.
knew
He
that
blamed Dylan
John
for the yard passing. I don't
like
buy it.
people
I
cutting
don't
through
buy
his
it at
yard.
all.
Correct?
No, I don't know that to be
Static.
true.
Okay. Yeah, it's the video.
Okay.
Let me try to close down some of the
Your
windows.
testimony that John O'Keefe invited kids to cut through his lawn all the time?
I don't understand. Is that a question?
It was a question. And I guess let me withdraw that and ask that. If John O'Keefe.
Yeah, it's definitely the video. Let me try to find another one. Let me go. Give me a second, guys. I'm just going to see if I can pull up like the, remind me who else would have had it. But, well, I know Mike did. I know Mike did. I don't know if I could use his or not, but I know I can use the news. Let me try Boston 10. Just give me 2 seconds to do this. Sorry, guys, because that was, I don't know. I don't remember it being like that last time. Let me try and do Boston 10, Chris Albert. All right, let me see if I can get this one to pull up and be a little bit better. Chris Albert testifies in Karen Reed, but I don't know which one this is. That looks like just a news story. May take me a minute to find it. How staticky was it? Let me come back to the chat box. Was it? Oh, thanks. Yeah, Boston. Oh, Law and Crime. Thanks, DB. Okay, let me try them real quick. I don't know why that Court TV was so bad. Law and Crime. Chris Albert. Let's see if we can get it. Thanks for bearing with me, everybody. I don't remember that being so staticky last time at all, but maybe there is an issue with it. Okay, where are you? Okay, there he is. That's YouTube. Oh no, is that it? Let's try this one. I'm not positive. The thumbnail looks like he's sitting in court. Okay, that's what I'm seeing right now is a commercial. It's not it. Unfortunately, I pulled up another just a news story. I thought that was definitely it because I saw the thumbnail that I was looking for. Well, that's Turtle Boy. These are all like news stories, so I guess I'm going to have to go to YouTube. Let me try that. Bear with me, everyone. I don't want you to listen to staticky testimony, so that was not coming through very good. For some reason, I don't know why, because it sounded pretty good last Friday. Okay, let's see if we can find it. All right, this looks like it might be it. This is from CBN. Okay, that's Lally. Let's see if we can get to where we were. He was talking about Nebuchadnezzar, so let's see if we can find Yannetti. I don't know what this is. Okay, might have found it. I'm going to remove that. All right, I'm getting there. I found something that looks right, so I'm going for it. Just have to share the screen again.
Yeah, I'm telling him to come over and meet us.
All right, and that little emoji, that face emoji after, if not, I'm going to fire up your lawn. That's
Yeah, it's a laughing
Is that
face.
better, guys?
It's a joke.
And you're cracking up.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Okay, thanks, Sherry D.
Sorry. Sorry. Apologize.
Okay.
Is that better, Julie and DB? Can you hear that better? I know there's more
At
of them,
about
but
10:45 p.m. or so, I
chat talking.
believe he testified that was when John O'Keefe
Somebody type, I can hear it, and there's
with
not.
his girlfriend Karen Reed.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Would you agree with me that between the time you arrived and the time you eventually left, that you did go up to the bar within that establishment a few times
I'm sure I did.
and bought a few rounds of drinks,
I'm sure.
including that one round of fireball shots?
Correct.
What was the state of your sobriety when John and Karen arrived?
Probably fine. We're fine.
You didn't feel like intoxicated
No.
or unable to, perceive what's going on. You were still in control of your faculties.
Yes.
Would you agree with me that between the time you arrived and the time you eventually left,
Still
that
has
you
a little
did go up
static.
to the bar within that
Might be my
establishment a
internet
few times
tonight.
I'm sure I did.
and bought
You can at
few
least
rounds
hear
of
it though.
I'm sure.
including that one round of
You're a
fireball
tech
shots?
person.
Correct.
Yeah, a little more techie than me. I'm a little tiny bit
what
techie, but
was-
some of this stuff is beyond me.
The state of your
Just to
sobriety
be, or just more education.
when John and Karen arrived?
I'll get a little more education when something like this happens.
Probably fine. We're fine.
You didn't feel like intoxicated
No.
or unable to, perceive what's going on. You were still in control of your faculties.
Yes.
And is it true that after John and Karen arrived, that your wife Julie didn't want to stay any longer, or too much longer?
she didn't want to. She had a headache, so she wanted to go home.
Right. And by that point in time, you had been there about an hour, maybe a little less.
When Karen and John arrived?
Right.
Yeah, about an hour.
And you were having fun.
Sure.
And so Julie drove home, but you stayed, correct?
Correct.
All right. And in terms of Karen Reed's drinking, as far as you could see, she had that glass that she came in with that appeared to have a clear liquid in it, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you said either a lime or a lemon.
Thought I said a line, but yeah.
Okay. And you assumed that was, vodka and soda water or vodka in some type of mixer, correct? That was clear.
Correct.
And if she was, while drinking that night, if she was mixing in water in between alcoholic drinks, it would have been impossible for you to discern which drinks were water and which drinks were vodka, correct?
Yeah, we have no idea.
You can't tell that by eyeballing the drink, right?
No.
Because both liquids are clear.
Yes.
And in order to discern that, you'd actually have to be given a sip to see it, right? Okay. But in any case, Karen does not appear to be under the influence of alcohol to you.
I didn't notice anything.
She wasn't stumbling, correct?
Nope.
She wasn't swaying.
I didn't notice.
She didn't appear to be unbalanced, correct?
I didn't notice anything.
She wasn't slurring her words.
Nope.
She wasn't talking gibberish. Correct?
No.
She was engaging in normal conversation and she appeared to be under control.
Yeah.
And would you agree with me that she also appeared to be affectionate with John O'Keefe?
I wasn't really watching their interactions too much, to be honest.
But in any case, you never saw any arguing between the two of them.
I wasn't really paying
Is
attention
that
to
any better at all?
their
And you
interactions.
Hi, Lori. Welcome.
receive
We've just
any
been trying to get through the little
attention
static
between them,
issue
correct? I
didn't notice
we're having
anything.
with this feed.
Irregular.
Okay. And from your observations of Karen Reed that night, and you were there probably over 2 hours, were you not?
Total about that, yeah.
From your observations of Karen that night, you would have had no problem with her driving the car, correct?
I wouldn't even have thought about it.
Okay.
Okay, question. So I was busy I'm having struggle to find Law and Order for some reason. I try to pull it up and I can't seem to do it. So I think we're stuck with this little bit of static tonight. Lori Hamilton, welcome. Nice to see you here. She says, I'm pretty sure in the first police interview with C&J Albert, they stated they followed everyone back to 34 Fairview. So I missed what he just said because I was so focused on trying to find a better feed. And Sherry D says, yes. Let's see. Yes, at Lori Hamilton, there is a submitted CW document stating Chris and Julie went to 34 Fairview after the waterfall. So what did he just say? Should I take it back a minute? Because I was concentrating, so I didn't hear. Did he say the opposite? You guys can just type it in the chat box if you want to. Yes, DB, I agree with you 100%. It's not great. So not great for me, that's for sure. And that's sad. So that's all I can say right now. I think I've already explained to you that I would be happy to speak to you off air. I don't get rattled too easy. It's just the way nature of my past with tragedies and my policing. So I am just waiting to see. Oh, Lori, Sherry says at Lori Hamilton document date 2/10/22. Not sure what that means. Lori home. I'm just going to wind it back for a second so I can, since I was trying to find that other feed, I'm just going to wind it back a second. And I tested this out earlier today. There was no static. So maybe something wacky's going on with my internet. I don't know. I have high speed internet, so it really shouldn't. let me play that back. Where were we?
Probably over 2 hours, were you not?
Total, about that, yeah.
From your observations of Karen that night, you would have had no problem with her driving a car, correct?
I wouldn't even have thought about it.
Okay. Now, would you agree with me that of the group that you had met out, that you were the last person to leave the waterfall on January 29th of 2022?
I believe so.
Now, you previously, well, you testified on direct examination today, I believe, that you thought you got home between 12:05 and 12:10 a.m. on January 29th, correct?
That's what I remember.
If I suggested to you that you didn't even leave the bar until 12:13 a.m., would you quarrel with that?
I like the way he says, "Would you quarrel with that?"
Would I quarrel with
It's
it?
so Yannetti, isn't it? Okay, Susan.
No, I guess not. I mean,
And is your memory exhausted as to the precise time that you left the bar?
is it exhausted?
Right. In other words, do you not remember the precise time that you left the bar that early morning?
It's over 2 years ago. I don't know the precise time. That's why I said between 12:05 and 12:10.
That answers my question. Thank you. Could we have, with the court's permission, can I publish Exhibit 53? It's a short clip from the one. Sure.
So this was interesting because they were trying to really stick with that 12:10 timeline. If you guys remember that from the first trial. Sorry, we have static, guys. I used this one last Friday night and it was absolutely fine. So I really am kind of baffled as to why it's doing this tonight. Two different networks I've tried now and they're both static. So it must be something to do with my bandwidth maybe tonight. I do have high-speed internet. I don't have any other TVs on or anything right now. So I hope it's not unbearable. But they definitely wanted to go with that 12:10 because that had to do with Colin. Remember, that's when they all say Colin was gone. Colin never came in the house. And 12:10 was when they stuck with that until now when he sees the timing right up here. It says 12:13:33.
Sure. The lights are all on at this point?
Yes.
The bar appears to have largely emptied out?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, continue, please. There we go. My co-counsel much better with this than I. Do you know who that person is who's leaving the bar at this point at 12:15:43 a.m.?
Christina, it might be better without that song.
Okay.
See it now?
Yeah. I believe it's me.
Continue, please. Okay. You can kick it off, please. So, having now viewed that video with the timestamp of 12:13 and about 43 seconds or so, does that refresh your memory as to when you left the waterfall?
Yes.
That would mean it would have been impossible.
Karen
for you
has
to
that
get
look on
home
her face.
to
She's had many times like
Maple Street by
people are
12:05 or 12:10.
definitely trying to take me down.
Correct.
They're lying.
Correct.
Now, it was about maybe a 7-minute walk home. Would you agree with me?
From Waterfall to Maple? No, I said 7 minutes from D&E to Waterfall. Waterfall to Maple's probably less than 5 minutes.
So it's your testimony that D&E is closer to the waterfall than the waterfall is to Maple Street?
D&E's farther away from waterfall than farther away from where I live than waterfall is.
I understand.
I don't follow you. I'm sorry.
I'll try to clarify. I don't mean to be confused.
It's fine.
I'm not asking about the distance between D&E and your home. I'm trying to compare or ask you to compare the distance between D&E and the waterfall, and then the waterfall. Do you see the difference?
I think so.
Would you agree with me that your home is farther from the waterfall than D&E Pizza is from the waterfall?
I don't follow you. I'm sorry.
Okay. So let's take it step by step. D&E Pizza to the waterfall. Are they on the same street?
Yes.
How many establishments, if you know, are between D&E Pizza and the waterfall?
Just a few.
Okay, so it's a very, very short walk from
Yes.
D&E Pizza to the waterfall,
Yes.
correct? Your home on Maple Street is not on the same street as the waterfall, correct?
It's off of the same street.
But it's not on the same street.
No.
And your home on Maple Street is farther from the waterfall than D&E Pizza is to the waterfall. Is it
Correct.
not?
Correct.
Okay.
I didn't understand it earlier.
No, I know. I'm trying to work through this because, I'm not trying to trick you here. I just want to get the answer. So you would agree with me that it would take you longer to walk home from the waterfall than it would take you to walk to the waterfall from D&E Pizza.
Correct.
And I believe you said that one walk was 7 minutes and one walk was maybe less than 5 minutes, correct?
Yes.
All right. The 7-minute walk would have been the walk home as opposed to the walk to the waterfall, correct?
Yes.
All right. So you have agreed that you left the bar at 12:13, almost 12:14, according to the video, and it would have taken you about 7 minutes to walk home, correct?
Not exactly sure how. I
Can I
think
see counsel? Let's have her specifically.
So while they're at sidebar, what do you guys think? It was interesting. He spent a lot of time trying to get him to admit how far away their condo was from the waterfall and how long would it take him to walk there, because he's going to come around to the whole what happened when Colin got home, right? And what time was that? And it's interesting how Yannetti works things, isn't it? He's pretty brilliant. So sorry you weren't feeling well tonight, DB. We hope you feel better. I understand shoulder pain. I had shoulder surgery about 3 years ago. I tore my right bicep muscle and my rotator cuff. And it's sheer hell. I feel sorry for anyone that has had shoulder issues or problems. And if you have the surgery afterwards, it's a very long, painful heal. So I'm so sorry. Keep us posted and we hope you feel better. And yes, Lori, I agree. It's heartbreaking when you see Karen's face so many different times during the trial. Like, how could these people do this to me? How could they lie and frame me for this? It's horrible. I mean, to be accused of something you didn't do is one of the most frustrating, horrible feelings I do believe that you could ever. I think we've all had that happen to us, whether it was a relationship or a friendship or a parent, or, it's just such a bad feeling when 100% you didn't do something and they just won't let it up and they keep hammering and hammering, and it's terrible. And in her case, it's a court case that she's on trial for her life. So it's horrible. So I'm going to ask you guys who are with us right now, if you want me to just break for a minute and I could try searching again. I don't know. I'm pretty good at research and I keep putting in the keywords that I think I want, but I can't seem to pull up that law. You guys said Law and Order, right? I just can't seem to pull up their library for some reason. don't really want to do Mike without his permission. I don't want to stream one of the other content creators' stream of the trial. I'd rather not do that. That's why I was using Court TV last week. But Law and Crime. Okay. All right. Let's take a 5-minute break, everyone. I will just put it up there so people watching a replay know what we're doing. 5-minute break to look for a better feed. Minute break for tech issue. And I will do my best. And if anybody that's in the chat wants to search for it and DM me, or because do I have Twitter up here? No, I have my email up here. If you find it before I do, email it to me, acttmsw@gmail.com. And then that way I could pull it up and open it. So I'm going to go look for it now. We are officially taking a 5-minute break for tech issues. This is the first time this has ever happened. So it's always something. You never know when it's going to be, what it's going to be. So I'm just going to put that up there for replay. 5-minute break for tech issues replay, and I will be back as quick as I can. Maybe less than 5 minutes. I'll do my best. I'm going to type it in now and see what I can come up with. Do you guys think those would be on? Yeah, it's probably on. I'm just going to put in YouTube and see what comes up. All right, that might be it. I might have found it already. No, this was the grand jury. All right, that was from the grand jury. Let me see if I can find their library of slides. Okay, that might help. Trying to find their main page. It just keeps, every time I do this, it just brings up one video and it doesn't bring me up their whole, oh gosh, frustrating. It doesn't bring me up their whole, yeah, I don't want that one. No. Well, that's not it. That's Boston News. That's the one we're doing and we don't like it. Try it again. All right, I'm on there now. I finally made it to their actual site. That's what I've been trying to get to. So now let me go and find there's their live buttons. That's their podcast. I don't want that. It was so long ago now, it's not up on the top. There's all the other cases they're covering and doing. Trying to look for their actual library now, but at least I found their page, so that's helpful. Now let me go to their search button. See if I can finally find it. Okay, that's Karen Reed. Now let's see if it gives me. Boy, they have a lot up here, a lot of stuff. They have a lot about Turtle Boy, a lot about other cases. I'm still at a loss as to where their actual library of this trial is. It's not bringing it to me. I found all the other feeds so easily. The CBS one that's not coming in good, the NBC one that's not coming in good, but now this law and crime page, it's just not giving me what I want. It's giving me everything but what I want. It's a good thing I have a lot of patience, because most people, this would make them crazy. So I feel bad that those other ones that we already have, we have 2 of them up and keyed up, but they're full of static tonight for some reason. Yeah, these are just, this isn't the trial. I just can't seem to find their library with the Karen Read, all the episodes of the Karen Read trial. Sorry for the delay, everybody. We're trying. Says no results. Go home. So I'm striking out on this law and crime for some reason. It just can't seem to do it. So just coming back in. Did you yeah, it's day 8. It's definitely day 8. Yep, law and crime. Exactly. I'm on there. Here, I'll show you guys what I'm on. Let me share my screen so maybe you guys can help me talk me through how to figure out how to find it. Let me share the screen. I'll show you what I'm looking, where I'm looking. Okay, so I'm on there. I'm on this main page of theirs. If you guys can, I got to come back into the room. I have to alternate coming here and coming back to the room. So yeah, okay, you can see it. So this is the main page that I'm on of theirs. And if you go over, it just lists live, but it doesn't watch live Law and Crime Network. So we can try that. And then on demand. But it doesn't really show view all live trials. Let's try that. I hadn't seen that one before. Okay, this might be it. Maybe we're finally getting there. These are, yeah, I'm just seeing these are what's currently going on. No, that's November 27th. But there's no like search button. There's nothing to 10 most, this is not top of the today. There's just nothing. It's just not there. I clicked watch live. And now we're back to this guy again. You are now viewing. Yeah, this is okay. I'm just coming back to you guys because when I'm in this room, I can't see your chat. So you can only find Brian. Yeah, they may not have all their episodes up. I mean, yeah, go to YouTube. I tried that, but I'll do it again. So I'll share my screen with you. So let me get out of this one. It's interesting because, like I said, the 2 that I have keyed for today, which are Law and Order. What was the first one we were watching? Now I forgot. We were on CBS, and then when we were first on, we were on the other main channel that a lot of people don't like. So, okay, let's try to go to YouTube, which I've done already. And I wonder, well, see, I don't want to use Emily D. Baker or Melanie Little or the Young Dirks. They all covered the trial, and I've gone back and watched episodes of the trial in their libraries, but I think I need permission. I don't believe that I can just show their live stream. It's like a double live. It would be like a double live stream, and I'm not comfortable doing that. Let's try that. So this is what I tried. This is how I came up with what I came up with. This is, okay, what's this one? Who is this? Is this Court TV again too? Full testimony, Karen Read trial. I'm not sure. Court clips, YouTube. Should we try that one? Here's CBS Boston. That's the one we were watching. NBC, or we were watching NBC or CBS. Let's try CBS. I think we were watching NBC. No, that's no, that's not a full. That's only, oh, that might be it because that says 3 hours. So this might work. Let me share this one. Hang on a second. I'm going to bring it up for you. Okay, I'm gonna bring up the new one. Hang on a sec.
And how long have you lived in Canton?
Since 1974.
Now, how's that?
And so
Is
pretty much your whole life.
Pretty much.
This is
Since I was
CBS
4.
now.
And
Is there static still?
prior to living Maple, where did you live in Canton before that?
I think
7 Meadows
really
Ave
should try NBC. I think that
in
thought
Canton.
we were
And
on
how long-
NBC prior.
how long
How's
did you
the
live in Southern?
static on this one, guys?
From 2001 to 2021, about 20 years.
And who, if anyone, you live with now?
I live with my wife, Julie, my oldest son, who just came home from the Navy, my middle son, Colin, and my youngest son, Dylan.
And how long have you and your wife Julie been married?
Roughly, gosh, you're going to kill me.
Was that one less static or was it just as bad? We're having tech issues. Anybody that's here on replay or joined us late, we were getting a lot of feedback, a lot of static from both Court TV and NBC or ABC. I'll go try NBC, Julie. I'll go back and pull up that one. Just hang tight, everybody.
Download the Money app where your hard work pays off. It was a half day in Norfolk Superior Court House, but the jury was
Looking for a way to stretch the dollar? With Insurify, you can cut your car insurance bill in half. Getting a deal on car insurance from Insurify is super easy, and all you need is a phone and a finger. Scroll through dozens of prices and tap to switch online. That's it. No phone calls and no wasted time. It's just like searching for a flight or hotel online. Enter your car information, and Insurify does the rest. Go to Insurify and save today.
Check if you're overpaying for car insurance. Go to insurify.com.
Well, now to the Karen Reed murder trial. Today's testimony focused on family ties and police connections. The jurors heard from members of a prominent Canton family who were neighbors and friends of John O'Keefe and Karen Reed. Our NBC 10's John Maroney joining us live from Norfolk Superior Court, indebted with a recap of today's proceedings. John.
Well, that's not it. I seem to be striking out, guys. I'm trying my darndest to find you one that's not staticky tonight, but I am not doing a very good job. This looked like it was going to be it, but it's not. It's just a recap. So I'm having just not having any luck tonight. Not sure if we should just talk about what happened in the last few days instead, because there's been a lot, and just do testimony next Friday since the links we have are just so terrible. Hi, Emma D. We are we're having tech issues tonight. The two links I had pulled up to try Court TV and CBS have a lot of static. So the ladies in the chat we have me looking for another feed, but I am having a hard time. Couldn't find anything on Law and Crime. They only had Brian Albert. Now I'm looking for NBC, but I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find their actual package of all the testimony. So I can either go back to the least static one, which I thought was the CBS one, or we can just postpone till next Friday and we can talk about what happened this week, the different events of the week, because there was plenty. So I'll let you guys decide what you would like to do. No worries. Oh, Emma D, you are so sweet. I'm wearing purple because, well, as long as we're having tech issues, let me tell you why I'm wearing purple. So this scarf is for domestic violence awareness. A friend of mine knitted it for me when I was working in domestic violence shelters. Ladies would knit, and it would be very, this, I think this is knitting. I am terrible. I don't crochet and I don't knit. My friend Kathy crochets, so I don't know. I'll hold it up. Is this crochet or is this knit? I think this might be crochet. So, but it's purple and blue, and they were knitting them at some of the domestic violence shelters that I volunteered at when I lived in Los Angeles. And I just love it. It's super soft. And so my purple hat is actually from Madison East High School, my alma mater. And this is a very old blouse that I have, purple blouse. But today I had the honor to be part of a Zoom and it was in Massachusetts, and I forgot where I forgot what county I was in. Sorry, guys. I was invited by our newest victim that we're standing for, who is gratefully alive. He's made 3 attempts on her life. This is her former partner, the father of one of her children. And by a miracle, she has survived. She has a disability now from these horrific injuries that she suffered at this at this man's hands. He hurts her, beats her up, gets arrested, goes to jail, gets out. And then it all starts over. It's been this 6-year pattern of stalking, finding her. She's had to go into hiding. She's been in hiding now because he's up for a parole hearing, I guess. So she was there. There were 2 other DV representatives. I was there, and we had to listen to an hour of testimonies of other cases. And whoa, some of them, guys, were really something. Love the purple. Thank you, Emma D. I appreciate it so much. Oh, I have it. What's your email again? Oh, thank you, Laura. You are the savior. I'll type it in the chat box. ACTT. Now I'm not typing very accurately. Let's see here. ACTTMSW@gmail.com. And it could just be technology tonight. But you'd think that my voice would be all wonky, right? If it was my internet, and I have high-speed internet that's designed for live streaming. It's the highest you can get. So ACTTMSW@gmail.com. I'll pop up to my Gmail and I'll talk to you guys for a minute while I'm doing that. So we were probably in this Zoom room where other lawyers and other defendants were. Some were in person, and we got to hear the judge in that, whatever county we were in, that actually, yeah, maybe it was like a joint hearing because they mentioned several counties. So I'm not sure what Massachusetts, this court system, was doing today, because now that I think about it, her issues was in a different county than the gentleman before. There was one man that didn't speak any English, so he had an interpreter, and his bail was like $20,000, and it was just kind of depressing, some of these crimes that these people had committed. So that was a bummer. And then finally, it was the man who hurt her's turn for his case to come up. And right away, guess what? Sidebar. right away, the judge says, I'll need to see you at sidebar. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's been waiting there for over an hour and now she's got to go to sidebar. And that was a good 10 minutes. It was a long sidebar. And then when they came back, they said, okay, well, we're going to have to set this aside for March. I'm like, what, March? So I think in a way, I think it's okay because I think he's in jail. So in a way it's okay, but she's very nervous about him getting out on parole because then she'll have to stay in hiding and she won't be able to have her life back. So it's just really horrible what she's been through. And she's agreed to come on and talk about it. Hopefully next Wednesday, we're not totally sure. But Levita is also going to come on. Levita is a dear friend of mine who was a survivor of an attempted murder, strangulation. And we did a documentary together. After I finished grad school, I took a documentary filmmaking class at USC in LA and for a year. And then Levita and I made a documentary about her experience, her near death and survival. So Levita's going to come on next Wednesday and we're going to show the documentary and she's going to take questions and hopefully our anonymous survivor will join us. She wants to actually meet all of you face to face and use her own voice, her own face. So she's done some other interviews in the last few years, which is really, really something. So, okay, let me get to my email here. Hang on. And I will focus on that for 2 seconds. So stand by. Thanks for being patient tonight. You know, with live streaming, I've never had tech issues. I have had the most luck, I think, since August that I've ever had with anything I've done. Even sometimes public speaking, my mic wouldn't work or my slide deck wouldn't present, or there would be like, oh, one time I was talking in front of 250 high school students and this loud like machinery thing pulled up right next to the auditorium and it was so loud I couldn't even hear myself think, and the kids were then making noise and getting, you know, be high school kids basically, right? So I've had tech issues all over the board with the various things I've done in my careers, but this is my first live stream tech issue where we can't hear a video. I mean, I don't play a lot of videos, so I guess it's just the way it is. We're going to get a tech issue. Okay, I found it, Lori. Thank you. I am clicking on it now, and I'm going to share it to my, I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to put it in the deck. That would be the best thing for me to do, and then I can just open it right up. So let me
What's up, everyone?
Thank you for your patience tonight. Let's see. I'm going to open that. Did I share the right one? Yes. Okay. I want to make sure I shared the right link to myself. Okay. Okay. We'll give it another try here. I'm just getting it copied into my slide deck. Then I have it for future reference. There we go. Then I just have to refresh the deck and hopefully this will work and we won't have the crazy static. All right, I am refreshing now and I'm going to go down and grab that tab that you were so nice to send me. Let's open it up. I'm going to close these other ones down. Okay, I'm coming back in the room now and I'm going to share my screen one last time and see if we can make this happen. We can get to Julie Elbert. Share screen, there we go. All right, that's what you sent me, Correctamundo. And so I'm not sure what it is. I'm gonna...
How are we?
Okay,
good to see all of you. It's an honor to be here with all of you.
Okay, I don't know if I clicked the wrong button, my dear, or what happened, but that's what I just copied out of our deck. Let me go back to the email again, see why that did not happen correctly. Boy, we're batting zero tonight with tech issues. That's for sure. It's not going very smoothly, is it? All right, we'll keep trying here, and hopefully we can at least get something accomplished. Yeah, I see it in my email. It's plain as day. All right, let's try it again. I'm going to try it one more time. Not sure why it didn't flow through to my slide deck, but we're going to try it again. I'm going to put it on its own slide this time. There we go. Hopefully that this is going to open up for us and we can continue what we plan to do tonight, which we haven't been able to do much of. Okay, there we go. Now let's refresh this again. Okay, now it's on its own. It should be on its own slide. I just have to go find it now. Okay, that should be it. Let me try it. Oh, it looks, I don't know what's going on. Maybe that was a commercial. This is the link you sent me, my dear. So maybe this is a commercial. I'm going to just I'm going to present it again and give it a go. And we'll see. Maybe that was just a commercial. Maybe I shouldn't have been so quick to discount it. So here we go. I'm sharing it. Let me go arrow down here and see if it's down below. Oh, I see what happened. I clicked on the main one. I had to keep scrolling. I was too quick to not click. So let's see. There it is. Now let's hope there's no static. Let's cross our fingers. Oh, I hear static. Dang it. All right. Let me go back.
Is to Maple Street.
Deanie's farther away from Waterfall than farther away from where I live than Waterfall is.
I understand.
How's the static, guys?
I don't follow you. I'm sorry.
I'll try to clarify. I don't
That better?
need to be confusing here.
It's fine.
I'm not.
Yes, you're right.
asking
It's
about
very
distance
possible. It has
between
nothing to
DD
do with me or my internet. It could be a StreamYard
I'm
issue.
trying to compare
When you do this kind of
or
live
ask you
stream
to
and you
compare
do a
the distance
video, it's a lot.
between
It's a
D&E
lot.
and the Waterfall, and then
That's what I've been told.
Waterfall.
By the
Did
people.
you see the difference?
Is it any better?
I think so.
Would you agree with me that your home is farther from the Waterfall than D&E Pizza is from the
Oh,
Waterfall?
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I don't follow you. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let's.
So is that too much static for tonight? Should we let it go and just chat together? What do you guys want to do? I don't hear the static maybe like you are. It sounds very minimal to me, but I'm on the end of it. I'm on this tech end of it. So let me know what you guys would like to do. If it's too annoying and too much static, we will just chat. We can just talk. There's plenty to talk about. Most of us remember Chris Albert's testimony. I was mainly looking, I wonder if Julie's is, yeah, it's probably the whole feed, I would think. Julie says, have you gone over a hypothetical case, as in if you were a member of Canton Police, with your knowledge, what would you have done at 34? No, I have not done that. But I sure could do that if you guys want to. And then hopefully next Friday maybe what we'll do is just hop right into Julie and then come back at the end and finish Chris. Wait, Lori says, oh, that is the one that I took out of your email. But hang on, maybe I did the wrong slide. Yeah, you're right. This is CBS. Okay, sorry about that. I might have grabbed the wrong one. Let me go back and see. I copied it into its own slide, so that was the only one that had its own slide. So I thought maybe that had to be it, because I don't have any other. I don't know. I'll give it one more shot. And it's frustrating. I'm glad I have my mom and dad's DNA. They both had a ton of patience. I have a lot of friends who would have completely lost it by now. So I have a lot of ex-boyfriends who would have completely lost it by now. So let me get, what did you say, Julie? Peter Murphy and Sean did it independently. It was really good. They did walk through as if they were unseen. I'd love to hear what you would have done. Okay, well, I'm happy to do that. Let's take a break from this trying to find Chris Albert without static. I think we should. And next Friday night, we can do Julie Albert right out of the gate. We'll cross our fingers. I'll have like 4 versions pulled up so that if we have static, then we'll know for sure. I think you're right, though. I think you guys are right. I think it's StreamYard tonight. It's just difficult. It's not letting us stream for some reason. So yeah, let's give it up. I would be happy to do that. I'm really feel very proud and honored that you asked me to do that, because I look at it from a patrol officer. I was never a detective. I was a patrol officer in my early part of my career, and then I became a community officer towards the end of my career, where I worked on a lot of crime prevention projects. So I would be happy to do that with you guys. Absolutely. Let me come back to you. And thanks for asking, Julie. That's just awesome. And I am a little disappointed because I was super looking forward to Julie Albert tonight, but we cannot control StreamYard. I will send them a message and ask them to get a hold of me, and then hopefully they'll explain to me what the issues were. Taking a drink of my guilty pleasure, guys. I try to only do like iced tea with a little bit of stevia. I gave up Diet Coke for 7 years. I still can't believe I gave up Diet Coke for 7 years. I drank Diet Coke from the time I was 18 in the dorms. I would hit the vending machines on the way. I lived on the 9th floor in Madison, UW-Madison, 9th floor. Whitty A, to all of my fellow Whitty A folks, Washburn Hall. And I would go down the elevator, go right to the pop machine, get my Diet Coke, and head out to school. And I'd have like a granola bar or something in my pocket. I wasn't a breakfast eater back then. I'm never super hungry early in the morning. And when I had early morning classes, that's what I had for breakfast, was a Diet Coke. I drank Diet Coke all through college and most of my life. I never liked Diet Pepsi. So tell me in the chat, are you Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke? I find it amazing how people are tied to one or the other. It's either Diet Coke or it's Diet Pepsi. It's never both. And I don't like Diet Pepsi. To me, it tastes like medicine. I cannot drink Diet Pepsi. So you love diet soda. But yes, I know. I that's why I only do that. This is once a week. Fridays is when I let myself. And if I don't do Friday, then I let myself have one on Saturday. I do not drink it every day. I know I never drink more than one. And yeah, because I'm afraid of it. It's not good for you guys. It's really not. They've done so much research now. It's very bad for you. That's why I was calling it my guilty pleasure. Just like my donuts that I like to get from these lovely women that are from Cambodia. They run a cute little coffee shop about 1-2 minutes from my house. And it's the 2 daughters and the mom. And they are the sweetest women. And they make their own donuts. They make their own, they make everything fresh. And they make breakfast sandwiches, and they make, like BLTs, and they have donuts and coffee. Their coffee's delicious. So when I want to spend money, I don't go to the corporates anymore. I go to these lovely, sweet ladies who are from the Vietnam, Cambodia area. I can't remember exactly if it's Cambodia or what section or where they are in Vietnam. I'll have to ask them next time I go in for my other guilty pleasure. So, you have a diet. Okay, so you're a Diet Pepsi person. Wait, who's the Diet Pepsi? Oh, Emma D is, I'll have a Diet Pepsi for a treat. Yeah, it's just a guilty pleasure. Anything in moderation. It's so a good friend of mine, I've never told any of you guys this, but before I went back to college after my divorce, I worked for a property management company. And my kids and I, it's just another career I don't talk about much because people think I'm nuts that I've had that many careers, but I liked change when I was younger. I still do to a certain degree, but I just didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. Really, I had so many things I loved doing, and property management, I came upon it completely accidentally. When I was in college, I started doing it. And then after my divorce, I got back into it. My husband and I were also involved in it when we were married. So it was a long career in that sense, but it was kind of like a part-time career. So after the divorce, I started managing a 250 complex building, and I was on site. I lived on site, my kids and I. And it was really interesting, and I enjoyed property management, but it has its ups and downs, with every career. Now I lost my train of thought. What the heck was I going to tell you guys? Don't you love it when that happens? Oh, Dr. Pepper. Oh yeah, that's my son likes Dr. Pepper. He'll drink that on occasion. Diet Coke for sure, says Lori. But it does. Oh, my friend Pat. So when I was in property management, that came back to me faster than I thought it would. My friend Pat was a little overweight. He was my accountant for the property that I managed, and he lived in Milwaukee. I lived in Madison, Wisconsin, and he was addicted to Mountain Dew, addicted to the caffeine, to the sugar. He would drink, no lie, he would drink 8 a day. And that was on a good day. I know there were days where he drank a 12 pack, and he'd start 8 in the morning and he'd work till 6 at night. He was a CPA, and he got to a point where he realized this is really bad for me. And then I encouraged him, because I was on this health kick, because I was about to go to the police academy when I had left property management. So I was on this health kick and trying to get into my best shape ever. So I gave up Diet Coke. And so I challenged him, and he gave up Mountain Dew. And so he lost like 20 pounds and felt better, never went back. As far as I know, we haven't talked in a while, but as far as I know, last time he was not drinking the Mountain Dew. He switched to something more healthy. So, all right, there's our little off talk there. That was kind of fun to get off the stress wagon of not being able to get a video to play good tonight. I handled that better than I thought maybe I would after this long week of lots of things going on. So let's go back. So Julie, craziest person, for those of you just joining us and on replay, we are having technical issues tonight. None of the videos we tried from CBS, NBC, Court TV, they were all full of static. So it has to be StreamYard, because I'm doing fine. So no static here. So we're going to go rogue. And Julie, craziest person on earth, asked me to tell her if I was a Canton police officer that night and I was on duty, and that was, let's say, my district, because when you're on duty, everybody, you have districts and different police departments call them different things. So let's just say I was District 2 that night, and that's the house. So if I was an officer and that call came in, and let's just say I got there first. So I'm driving through a blizzard, can't see. I would have obviously, the call would have required two cars. So I would have had backup coming, because first they'll assign, that first officer gets assigned, and that officer is the first officer. Then there's backups from there and there, and they all have to do reports too. But the first officer has the major report. And it's pretty much, I'm assuming it's like that. I mean, times have changed now. They have so much technology. They have laptops in their car. They use cell phones. We didn't have any of that. So we had laptops in our car. They were very old school, and they were mostly just used to type in your disposition. Like you type in that you're on scene, that you arrived, you tell dispatch on your mic that you're on scene. So there would have been a backup coming. So let's just say I got there first and the backup's still en route. So I'm going to see that, there is a car already parked there. I'm going to notate that. I'm going to tell dispatch that there is a vehicle here. I see 1, 2, 3 women, depending on where they all were. Were all 3 of them out of the car? I don't know at that point. I don't recall. If maybe you guys do. I thought Jen was in the car for some of it, but I would say I see 3 what looks to be females. It was a blizzard at that point, right? So maybe I wouldn't be able to tell, but I might have said it looks to be 3 females, and it looks like there is someone on the ground. So that would have been how it would have started. And I would have obviously got out of my car, approached right away, said, "What's happening here?" And then they would have told me. So I personally would have started CPR. That's how we're trained. If EMS had rolled up exactly at the same time as me, then I would have, helped them. I would have let them take charge. But if I was there first, the very first thing I would have done is check for a pulse. And if I couldn't find a pulse, but I wasn't totally sure, err on the side of caution, and I would have done the CPR. So that would have been first thing. Then EMS rolls up, or my partner gets there. Maybe my partner starts helping me with CPR, or we continue that. Once you start CPR, you don't stop. That's something that you learn in the police academy. That's what fire rescue, EMS, they're all trained. And you're supposed to learn that when you take CPR as a lay person, that once you start CPR, you do not stop. So then obviously if I would have chosen, I think that's what I would have done, is started CPR. I would have continued until my second arrived, or EMS. So we'll just say EMS gets there, they take over for me. So then at that point, I'm going to separate these 3 women. First and foremost, separate them, because I don't know what the hay's going on. One of them could have killed them for all I know. So 3 women get separated. 1 goes in my squad car. Hopefully the backup's there. He can take 1 in his squad car, and we can put 1 in the EMS wagon, but we separate them immediately. We don't let them chat. We don't let them hang out. We don't let them be hysterical. When you separate people that are already hysterical, it helps break down the hysteria, right? So that's how that should have gone, first and foremost. So let's break for a minute. Let me see what you guys have to say about what I just said, and if that's what you would have done. Let's see. Residential was living in a glass house, had hated living. Oh, okay, I got that. I think you guys are just chatting. Oh, yes. Hey, call came in. There's a man passed out in the snow. Yeah, that makes no sense to me. If it's your friend, now if she was just driving by right on her way home from somewhere, it was bar time. Well, it was it was morning. So maybe if she was going to work, then I could see it. But how would she know? She wouldn't know it was a man, right? If she didn't know the person. So then in that case, if it was a stranger, you would have just said, there's a person in the snow. They don't look to be moving, whatever you would say to 911, right? But for someone who's his friend, who professed to us on the stand, I loved John. I would never, or, do you remember that when she got that really exasperated face? And I loved him. He was my friend. Well, then you would say on the 911 call, my friend's in the snow, my friend's hurt, right? And you would hear that in her voice. That is a huge tell, everybody. To me, that was one of the biggest tells of her whole testimony, because there is no way in heck a friend is going to say that about a friend. I don't buy it. So thank you very much for putting that up, Julia. Julie, you're doing great. Oh, yes, especially given the week events. It's been quite the dang week, hasn't it? So much going on. So let's see, Julie. Oh, yeah, she was angry, professing, this was my friend who I loved. Thank you. I couldn't quite remember her quote. And yes, this is my friend who I loved. And it had no emotion. It had no feeling. I could act that better than she did it, right? That was the worst. That was just the worst. Any of us could be a better actress than Jen McCabe. Yeah, that was gross. Yeah, it was absolutely gross. So yeah, so that's that. So where I left off is that I have now done CPR until EMS gets there. I have separated the witnesses, all three of them. Now I'm letting EMS do their thing. So now my backup is there. So then I talk to the backup. We probably decide one of us needs to get a statement from the woman the 911 caller, which would be Jen. So one of us, probably me, is going to get the statement because I'm lead officer, get the statement from 911 from a Jen. And then the other officer is going to go check on the other two women and find out, get their statement. What happened? How did you come to be here? These are the type of questions. How did you know? How did you know? Were you out looking for him? So you're going to ask all those kinds of who, what, where, when, why, how. Those are all the questions that you're going to ask on an initial interview. All of the other in-depth questions are going to come from who's ever assigned to investigate the case. Because once you're free from that scene, you're out. That's the tough part about being a patrol officer. Once then you're done and you're on to another call, and you may even have another call waiting in the CAD system when you get in your car. So once the higher ups get there, because it's a death investigation. So once the captain and lieutenants or whoever, detectives, whoever they wake up, who might not be at work yet at 6 a.m., then you'll be released. But not until the scene is secure, right? And we know they didn't secure the scene. So I wouldn't have been released. To me, in the real world, how it was supposed to go, I would have been expected to stay there and secure the scene and take care of traffic control. I had to do that many times for scenes that were taken by a higher up, like a captain or a lieutenant. And then I might have been the first on the scene, but I'm immediately then sent to do traffic control or maybe help package evidence if we didn't have enough people to come to the scene for evidence collection. Patrol officers can be told to do a variety of jobs once their initial, I'm at the scene, this is the case, deal with it. And then as soon as everybody else comes in who's higher up in the food chain than you on command, especially for this, which is a person that is presumed possibly unalived. So, hi, Ambery. Good to see you. Yeah, so many raise the question as to why JM wasn't freaking out for her family who were in the house. Absolutely. I mean, oh gosh, we could just go crazy now, right? So that's basically it. From that point, Julie, craziest person, I probably would have been asked to do traffic in the street, which there wouldn't have been much because of the blizzard, but I might have been asked to be the one to drive one of the ladies home, because that we would do that, right? If they weren't needed at the scene anymore for questioning. But number one, I would have been asked to help secure the scene. I helped secure a lot of scenes. That's what patrol officers help do. You get out the crime scene tape. I don't buy that hooey baloney about it was too much of a blizzard, too windy, it wouldn't have stayed in place. This stuff is thick plastic. If you tie it around, they had a flagpole they could have tied it around. If you tie it around, it might blow, but it's going to be something better than nothing. There's other options that they could have tried too. They could have just called in more officers. And yeah, it's cold. I did a lot of cold. I did traffic stops in the blizzards in Wisconsin. I had to stay on scene for traffic accidents in blizzards. And sometimes your when you run a license plate on a car and you run a driver's license on somebody that you've had to pull over for whatever their infraction was, driving, speeding, or taillight out, or whatever it might be, sometimes their information doesn't come back very fast because the system is slow. And I think Deirdre spoke a little bit about that in one of our lives that she was with us on, how the CAD can get backed up and it can be slow to get your info. So then you're standing out there. You're not necessarily going to go back in your car. You may be just standing out there and talking to the person, making sure they stay calm and making sure they don't get out of their car. So officers know they're going to be cold sometimes. They know they're going to be wet sometimes. You're going to get rained on. You're going to get snowed on. That whole nonsense about how I've never done a murder investigation in the snow. I don't understand how that's even possible. Like that, I would love to be able to go and look at records of calls that he had. I would love to prove him a liar. I really would, because I think he lied. I mean, talk to me, people from Massachusetts. It snows in Massachusetts, right? I just don't buy it. Let's see, Lori, if one of the ladies claimed the girlfriend said she hit him, what would you do? Yeah. Okay. So absolutely. I mean, first of all, for her, the firefighter, Katie, when we did her testimony 2 weeks ago, for her not to write that down is utterly absurd. That's absurd. The firefighters are like witnesses. I mean, when they would come on scene with me, I knew a lot of them. You get to know them because they have to show up to a lot of your calls, because they have to be there in case something goes haywire, or somebody goes haywire, or the car, something bad happens with the car. 9 times out of 10, when you see a squad car pulling someone over for anything major, fire rescue is not far behind. That's just sort of protocol for a lot of calls. So you get to know those officers knew Katie. They know it's way smaller. It's a smaller town than even the UW-Madison, which is 45,000 people plus the faculty and staff, which pushes it up into the 50. And Madison is 280,000 now. And our campus, UW, intertwines with downtown Madison. So we would get calls, we'd back up Madison, they'd back us up. It's a lot of city streets that you're dealing with. So absolutely, Katie, if that would have been said to her that, hey, I hit him, that is an admission of guilt. There's no way she's not going to tell me that if I'm the only officer on the scene with her at that point and my backup hasn't arrived and a detective hasn't arrived. She's going to tell me that. That is absolutely for sure. And even if she was, let's say, freaked out herself, or it was just a scene she wasn't used to, she would have written it up somehow, some way. That whole thing is just ridiculous. And then again, if I would have interviewed Jen and said, tell me what happened. Why did you make this 911 call? How did you get involved at this time in the morning? Where were you prior to this? When's the last time you saw John alive? All those questions would have been asked of her right then and there. She would have been interviewed, not released until after a preliminary interview. Then, of course, there'd be the more follow-up interviews with either a captain or a detective from the Detective Bureau. But that would have been in a report. It would have absolutely been in a report, or somebody's getting fired. If that comes out later that wasn't in a report, somebody's getting written up big time, days off, maybe not fired if it was the first time they ever effed up that bad, but definitely days off. Absolutely days off. Let's see, Canton. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Canton's basically half the size of the UW-Madison when school's in. Now in the summer, there's not as many students around, so that population goes down. But yeah, absolutely. Canton's very small. So if Karen Reed, hi Sherry D, if Karen Reed admitted to hitting John O'Keefe, she should have been cuffed on the spot, case closed. Very, very possible. Now again, we talked about this the other night with Kara. If you guys have been involved with my lives with Kara and her husband, Jason Veach, Jason was involved in a bar fight. He was drunk. He was disorderly. He was pounding his fist on the bar and demanding drinks and being rude to the bartender and spouting off about Trump, supposedly in favor of Trump. But you never know where you are. There could be Democrats, Republicans, Independents. It's just never a good idea. It's just not a good idea to talk about your political affiliations when you're drunk in a biker bar. But he did. And Kara's been super transparent how she didn't approve that he was drinking that much, that she didn't approve that he was drinking and driving. She didn't approve of any of it, right? But that is exactly what happened. He was drunk and he was, spouting off. So when the bartender called that there was a disturbance, she just said there's a disturbance. She didn't say an actual bar fight because nobody was actually fisticuffs, right? They were yelling, they were shouting. Jason was pounding on the bar. Then this gentleman who says he was afraid of Jason leaves the bar, goes to his car, and believe it or not, he gets a hatchet. And he brings a hatchet, an actual hatchet that was like this big, into the bar. And he swings it towards Jason. It misses his head, according to 4 witnesses, by this much. 1 witness thinks it nicked him, and it ended up hitting the bar. There is still a scar on the bar to this day where that hatchet hit the bar. Who should be arrested at that point? Who should be arrested? Jason, the person was yelling and shouting, or the man that was super afraid of Jason, but instead of getting in his car and driving home, he came back into the car with a hatchet. He should have been cuffed immediately when the police got there. Karen would have been cuffed immediately if she said, I hit my boyfriend. But we know she didn't say that, because she's not going to say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. No, she's not. She's just not. Even in hysteria, I just have never bought that for not even 30 seconds. That is not a reaction that somebody's going to have if they think that they killed their boyfriend, or that they didn't know for sure that he was dead at that point, but they kind of thought so. That's not what she would have said. She would have maybe started into hysteria of something along these terms, like, oh my God, right? And she'd be screaming, did I hit him? Right? Was it me? Could I have hit him last night? It would have never, ever been that she would have assumed that she did it, because none of us don't want to assume we've done anything like that. But we might question ourselves. We might say, oh my God, did I hit my boyfriend? Did I run over that bicycle? Was that my fault? That's how that's human nature, right? That's why we know this is a bunch of crap, that she never said that. And even if she had said it then, let's just say she was running around the whole scene saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. She would have been immediately sequestered, immediately put in a squad car, not necessarily handcuffed. It's a blizzard. She's hysterical. They probably would have put her in the back of a squad car and said, we need to take you to somewhere warm immediately. She should have been removed immediately then. Why is she hanging around the scene watching John being lifted onto the ambulance? We know it takes time from the time they put a body onto a live body or not onto their gurney. They put it in the ambulance, and they have to do certain things. They try to do some life-saving measures once you're in the ambulance. They don't just immediately take off. Why, if Karen admitted that she hit him, said it 3 times, was she not already en route to the Canton PD, which is 4 minutes away, right, guys? Something like that. And immediately she would have been questioned. She would have been already a person of interest. That is my complete opinion on that whole debacle of what happened in front of the house. And then I'm going to take a drink in a minute because I want to get to what you guys were saying. The fact that a police officer, seasoned veteran police officer of Boston PD, did not wake up. The dog didn't bark. His wife didn't wake up with all that commotion in the front yard and the flashing of the lights. No, absolutely no way. No way. Let me go back up to see what you're saying. Lori Hamilton, you are saying Officer Saraf said on the stand that the reason he didn't put that in his report was an oversight. No. And I've said this in quite a few chats. When I first started following this case, I followed it from the beginning, but I didn't go on any live streams. And when I started to do the live streams, I wrote this in the chat so many times. Everything I've just told you guys, I've written in chats to Young Jerks, to Turtle Boy, to, but those chats are crazy. Nobody sees your stuff. And I finally decided I'm not doing this anymore. I'll participate in chats where there's maybe 20 or 30 people. But when there's 2,000 or 1,000 or even 500, I kind of gave up giving my police officer opinion because I really didn't think anybody cared or was paying any attention anyway. So, but everything I just said to you, I have typed in those chats back in the day when I was still involving myself in them. There's no doubt in my mind that none of this is, police are not trained like this. Most police don't make these kind of mistakes unless they're purposely making them. Every police officer I worked with, there were very few that got written up. There were very few that got fired. I was actually accused of being fired last Sunday night. That was fun. Really great. By the way, I was not ever fired. And that's that. So it really amazes me when people want to say something about you that isn't true. And then you're left to decide, what am I supposed to do about that? That's one of the most craziest parts of life. And in relationships I've had, and I'm sure you've all had this happen to you, where you've been accused of something either at work or in a relationship or by a friend, and you know you didn't do that, or you know that didn't happen to you, and yet what are you supposed to do? Do you just tell the person, see ya, pound sand, don't care what you say about me behind my back, it's none of my business? Or do you fight? Do you stand up and say, this is bullshit, I'm going to tell you the truth, and you can believe me or you can believe the person who's lying about me? That's totally up to you. But this whole receipts thing, that's just crap. It's just utter crap. I don't have to prove to anybody what I did or what I didn't do. You can choose to believe me based on how I present myself, based on how I've conducted myself since August, or you cannot. Now, if somebody DM'd me and said, this is bothering me, I'm concerned, would you provide receipts? I absolutely would. But I'm not going to go on a live stream or in my Twitter and show my proof of my duty disability, show my 8 awards that I have actually sitting out right over here, because I've been so steamed this week that I don't put them up. I used to have them in my office, my community office, but I'm not a person that like wants to stare at my awards every day in my home. They were good in my office. I was proud of them, but that was years ago now. And I haven't looked at them in years, but the stuff this week took me down a peg. It made me feel bad about myself. And I thought, let me get my awards out. So if anybody wants to see them, DM me, I'll show them to you, but I'm not showing them to her. She doesn't deserve it. So I am happy to talk about this now because everybody's gone. It's just me now. So I can take care of myself. I can defend myself. If people don't like it, they can tell me they don't like it. DM me and tell me you didn't want to hear this tonight. But I've had a rough couple months of being accused of things I didn't do and being treated very poorly by people on X who have nothing to do with me. They don't come to my shows. They don't stand for my victims. I just want to be left alone. Let me continue to do what I do and stand for victims and go to the police departments and go to court hearings with our people that we're standing for, and let it be. It's really been a ridiculous scene. And I really hope it stops. I've been off of Twitter today only to post positive things. I refuse to read any of it because I was defending other people. And then that pulled me in even deeper. And so I realized, but I also cannot defend my friends. If my friends are being slandered, these are people I've come to meet on this channel and on their channels. I don't like to stand by. I've never been good at that. I'm not good at not defending people when they're being defamed or hurt. It hurts me when good people are being hurt. So that's gotten me in trouble this week in a lot of ways. There's just too much to talk about. So Sherry D, stop. Don't let people you don't know pull you down. Yeah, for sure, Sherry D. I mean, I've tried. I've done everything I can do. But I'll tell you, when it happens to you and it's just a barrage of threats and lies, it's very overwhelming. I have never been through anything like this before. It's terrible. It's terrible. And thank you for asking me to do the hypothetical. I really enjoyed that. That was really great. You guys are all great. And none of you deserve to be involved in all this nonsense that I've had to be involved with, which is why I haven't talked about it. So, but you know, I can't also not be transparent with you guys and pretend like everything's all great and okay. This will take me a while to let this go away from me. It's been hurtful. And I don't do well with hurt. So it lasts in my heart for a while. So I have to slowly let it go. And I will. It'll just take me a little time. There's so many good people in this world. There's so many good people following the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe. There's so many good people following poor Ellen Greenberg and her fight for justice, and Sandra Birchmore and Suzanne Morphew out in Colorado. We have so many people to stand for and so much work to do that we like you just said, Sherry D, we can't get caught in the weeds. We can for a couple of days, and we can defend ourselves if we want to. That's totally up to, I would never tell someone not to defend themselves. There's no way I would ever do that. You have to do what's best for you, what's best for your soul. And if defending yourself is, then you do that. And if you can't, because that's not for you, and you just want to be block, do it. Block them. Block everybody that upsets you. Block everybody that's negative. This is supposed to be a true crime family where we're trying to stand for victims of crimes and support each other. It's not supposed to be the tear down network. So we have to make sure that we keep voicing it's time for everybody to stand together. If you follow true crime, then be decent to each other and support. It's not about you. This is about the victims getting justice and the families getting justice for their loved ones. That's what it's about. So anything else that we should talk about? Let's talk a little bit about Brian Albert. I want to know your thoughts about him not coming out of the house. I've talked to so many people about it, and I've even talked to fellow law enforcement officers. Nobody buys it. I can guarantee you I am a light sleeper. I have been since I was a police officer, and now I always will be. And even from being a mom, I became a light sleeper. Those of you that are parents or grandparents. So no, I don't buy it. And my sister had 2 German Shepherds. I loved them. I babysat them. There is no way that 2 German Shepherds are sleeping through that. And if you guys were living with me 2 weeks ago for Friday Night Lies, Zeus was right here, sleeping like a baby on the ground. And he smelled and heard that possum from in here and alerted me and ran outside. And then he got into the whole possum altercation, Doberman possum thing, and brought the possum into the living room. Well, the little fella didn't die. I saw him the other night. But then a couple days ago, I was sound asleep because I've been having sleep issues since my knee surgery, and I didn't fall asleep till 3 a.m. It's now 6 a.m. Zeus usually sleeps in till 7 or 8, my grandpuppy. Barking, like scary barking, like someone's trying to break into the house barking. And so I yell for my son. I'm like, Zach, something's wrong. And I listen and I hear this whimpering noise, and it sounds like a cat or a dog is injured. So I'm like, good boy, Zeus. So I'm like, you stay in here. I go out to the backyard in my jammies and slippers because it's only like 50 degrees and raining that day. I didn't even take my raincoat, and I could hear it. And then I'm like, holy crap, that's human. That's a human. And it was my neighbor. She was laying in her backyard, sobbing, sitting on the ground, rain pouring on her, sobbing. So I'm freaked out. So I go running around to her fence. Come to find out, she lost her grandmother's ring. It was like many, many, many years old. She was laying down the plastic covering the plants because we were having a frost warning, and somehow it came off her finger. If you can imagine what it would be like to lose an heirloom, how you would feel, she was beside herself. But that Zeus, he heard that. I never heard it. I was asleep. I slept through the whimpering. But dogs hear everything, you guys. And if you have a dog, you know this is true. There's no way that dog slept through all that commotion in the front yard unless the dog wasn't there. And I surmise the dog wasn't there. I still believe that dog was sent with either Allie or Caitlin, and I'm on a toss-up, but I'm kind of leaning towards Allie because of, I don't know what you guys think, but when we have her testimony coming up here in a couple of weeks, let's see, Sherry D, so ironic. We're fighting for Karen for a not guilty, and people are smearing others with guilty verdicts. Yeah, it is. It's so ironic. And this will be the last time I'll ever mention it. Anything else that happens that I have to handle, I will handle on my own. But I mentioned it last night, and I felt it only fair to mention it to all of you tonight because there wasn't a very big group of you last night. So there were just 3 of us. So I felt very comfortable mentioning it. But I did want to mention it to all of you that I consider my family now, my Social Change Warriors family. And I wanted to be transparent with you because most of you have seen it going on Twitter X. So I'm out of it now. They all know I'm defending them, but I can't do that on X anymore. So I'll defend them in my own way. And I've defended myself on Twitter X. I don't need to do that anymore. So this is my last public statement about it. And I won't be involved in any more of it unless something ridiculous happens, and then I have to take it to another level of complaint, which I will do, but I won't do it via my lives. My lives have to spend time with the victims and the guests that come on the show and all of you, and talking about what we're here for, which is helping to either solve it or just to continue to advocate for the victims and their families, whatever we can do. So that's the best friend, the possum. Yeah, Zeus's new best friend. And then he made another puppy friend at the beach yesterday, a little black poodle named Olive. They became very good buddies, big, tall 90-pound Doberman Zeus. I'll never buy that BA didn't know what was going on. Me neither, Lori. You, me, and a lot of other people and everybody here tonight. He absolutely, well, he knew what was going on because he knew what happened. But let's just play devil's advocate. He didn't know what was going on. He had no clue John O'Keefe was out there. He still would have woken up. The noise, his dog would have barked because Chloe would have been there because Chloe wouldn't have done anything wrong. So Chloe wouldn't have been shipped out with Caitlin or Allie because she would have been there. She would have been in the house, and Chloe would have for sure barked when squad cars and EMS and this nonsense about, oh, they ran silent. They didn't use their sirens. I don't care. It's running engines. It's lights going on. It's people talking in your front yard that's not very big. And let me tell you, a lot of people who have told us that they've been to Canton and they've driven by the house, what we see, those of us that aren't from there, is deceiving. That camera views are very deceiving. Everybody that I have heard say they went by there, including James Jackson, when he was with us Wednesday night, he told us that yard is small and their bedroom is right in the front yard. So yes, Lori and everybody else, let's see. Sherry D, are you in Mass? That's from Lori Hamilton. And Sherry D, I got to go back. I think Caitlin and Tristan took Chloe as Caitlin lived. Oh, Caitlin knew Chloe. You're right. You're right. Ellie didn't know, but something else I would love to prove. And let's talk about that for a minute though. Remind me to tell you what I want to tell you about Caitlin. Why I think she lied. Yeah, you're probably right. It probably was Caitlin and Tristan because they knew the dog. They saw him all the time. I mean, saw her all the time. Let's see here. You got 1,000 miles away. Okay. I see. Lori's in Georgia. You're not too far from me. I'm in Florida. And I'm in northern Florida. I'm near Daytona Beach. So you're not far from me at all. I go right through Georgia when I drive home to Wisconsin. Solo Cup, Stop and Shop man. He took an oath, didn't help John O'Keefe. Shame. Oh yeah, that's another problem. And that's amazing, isn't it? How that's never really been brought up. There's a cop living across the street that they got Solo Cups from instead of going to the house where they all know Brian Albert lives. That's the other thing. I know people have made lists of all this. It's ludicrous. They think we're all so dumb that how do they even think that? There's a cop across the street who's awake enough for the Solo Cups, but not awake enough to come out and assist. There's a cop in the house who they never woke up, and they never rang the doorbell. It is literally insane that they expect us to believe all this. Yes, Zeus is a Doberman. He's a blue Doberman. And so he's light. He's very light. He kind of looks grayish blue. And we didn't dox his ears because neither my son nor I believe in that. So he's got the floppy ears. So I'll show a picture of him sometime. He looks like he has this funny face like Scooby-Doo, Scrappy-Doo, Marmaduke. He's all and his personality is all those dogs mixed into one. He is just a dear. He's just a joy. And he's been so lonely since my therapy dog, Sweet Zelda, passed away July 1st. She was 11 and she had cancer. She was a pit bull boxer and she was a beautiful girl. She nannied me. She would take care of me on my bad days when my neck and back hurt. She would stay by the bed until I got up and made sure I got up, and she wouldn't leave my side. She was a joy. I miss her. When we lose our pets, it's rough. Oh yeah, Daytona Beach. Come visit anytime, Lori Hamilton. You are welcome. I live about 8 minutes from the closest beach, about 12 minutes from my favorite beach, which is in Ormond Beach, because that's quieter and there's not as many tourists. But when I'm in a touristy mood and I want to see tourists, then I'll go to the 9-minute beach. But yes, anytime any of you that I've become friendly with, you want to come visit, you are more than welcome. So Canton PD, 5 to 7 minutes away. Right. And no biggie to get supplies. Now, there you go. They could have sent one of the first patrol officers and their backup. One of them could have gone to get supplies. Once they had those 3 witnesses separated, which they didn't do, but once they did that, then one of them could have hustled back to the department, or just simply call your own department. Somebody's got to be there. It's 6 a.m. now. I mean, it's like none of it makes sense, right? It's just all ridiculous. And I don't like being treated like a fool. And they have treated us like a fool, the Commonwealth. And some of the things I heard today when I was in that Zoom court with our newest case, survivor of domestic violence, we're trying to prevent her from becoming one of our victims that we have to stand for. She has been through the ringer, and this man keeps getting let out, and he keeps reoffending, and he's stalking her. And I'm just grateful to know her and that she trusts me enough. Oh, there goes my library. I had a huge library when I lived in LA, a big bookshelf, and I had all my books on it. And I knew that I couldn't keep moving those books all the time. So they were in storage at my mom's until recently. They're here now in Rubbermaid bins, but I don't have a bookshelf for this small little area where I do this live streaming in my room. So I took a picture when I was in LA, I took a picture of all my books on the bookshelf that was at the residence where I was living. And I had it put on this, it's a big giant like mural cloth. So I could have my books with me for the past 5 years, even though they were in storage at my mom's house. So I have it up behind me, but sometimes it comes off its little hooks, and that's what it just did now behind me. But Sherry, Emma, or I think it was Shauna. Shauna thinks that's actually actually a real bookshelf, and it does look real. But it's not. It's on a cloth because I wanted to have it when I was doing pre-recordeds, and I didn't want to bring all my books down here from Wisconsin to Florida. So now I'm looking into getting a bookshelf again for this wall over here, so I can put all my books up because I love my books. So what do you guys have to say next? Let's see. They sure did think we were all, yes, imbeciles, dullard imbeciles with no sense, even though CPD was about 5 minutes away. Yeah, it is just, it's really horrible when someone thinks, treats you like you don't have a brain in your head, or that we're so mighty and we're so powerful and we're so corrupt that we can get away with anything. And so they might not even think we're dumb. They're just so used to being powerful and corrupt and getting away with everything that that's what they do. So it's mind blowing. Yes, absolutely. And it's so wrong, and Ed Byers was here a couple times live streaming with us, telling us about the corruption in Indiana and how long that went on, like 15 years, with a lot of up the chain, the captains, lieutenants, knowing that this was going on and just looking the other way, letting it happen. And then the sentence he got, the sheriff, Jamie Knoll, got, I think he did a plea deal, and I think he only ended up with 11 years for millions and millions of dollars that he absconded with, and that his daughter, and I can't wait to have Ed back on, because his daughter got a super light slap on the wrist. Like, I couldn't even believe it. I sent Ed the clip from Court TV or wherever I watched it from, but Jamie Knoll's daughter is so freaking lucky. I mean, the money that she spent on purses and clothes and hair and nails, and it would just make you faint. And because she did a plea deal too, but now I don't know about her mom. I want to get Ed back on the show, because it's like a soap opera there, guys. Clark County, Indiana is a soap opera. It's unbelievable. Sherry D, Shauna, we were just talking about Shauna. So what I wanted to say about Caitlin was, remember when we'll talk about it when we do her testimony, but we talked about it a little bit last night, Paula and Sherry D and I. Caitlin said that she found, when they were driving around, when she was taking Colin home, they found a stray dog and they took it to the police department. Bull. Now, I don't know, you guys correct me, because small towns might be different, but no police department that I worked for, and when I was UW cop, and Madison, when I backed them up on calls, no, you do not take dogs to the police department, and you don't take them here. And this town that I'm in here, which is Daytona Beach, Holly Hill, Ormond Beach, they all have their own police departments. No dogs get taken to the police department. You either have two choices if you find a stray dog: Humane Society, and if they're closed, you have to keep the dog until the morning when the Humane Society opens. I don't buy it for a second, and I want to know what you guys think about that. Let's see here. It was Shauna. She spoke to me about, Shauna, about my book. So they're all in the Rubbermaid bins to my left. I have my grandpa's encyclopedia set, it's on this shelf here, I think. He had it, and I got it when he passed away. It's beautiful. It's from the 1960s. It was when they used to sell encyclopedias door to door. So it's a very old set. So I have that, and I have all my college books and other books that I like to read, fiction. So I'll figure it out. I have this whole wall over here that I could put a bookshelf on, and then I can just turn my desk around and I'd be able to just have exactly what I have. So I'll see about that if I want to get all my books out. But so, Lori, do you believe Karen can get a fair trial? I worry. There's so much corruption. Yeah, I worry too. I worry about the corruption in the last trial. I don't like Massachusetts, first of all. Why in the world can they not hear the transcript? Why is the court reporter there? Remember Miss Court Reporter? And if you remember Auntie Deb, when she did her parody, and Miss Court Reporter would be talking into a water bottle, Miss Court Reporter would be talking into my plastic tree that I lit up last night in remembrance of John. I'll light that up again. There we go. It's so pretty. It's a little tree of life, and it runs on batteries, or you can plug it into your computer. I found it online, and it's just the coolest thing. I have one in every room of my little beach house here: the guest room, the living room, and my room. So it doesn't. Again, so much with this case just does not add up at all. And oh yeah, lost dog. Allie lost dog, not Caitlin. Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm confused. Oh, yeah, right. Allie, sorry, I got those two confused. Caitlin's the one we think took Chloe home. Allie's the one who said she found a lost dog and took it to the police department. And again, I'll call tomorrow. I'll write it down. I'll call Canton Police Department tomorrow. I'll just innocently say, Hey, if I found a lost dog, would I be allowed to bring it in to the Canton Police Department, or do I have to take it to the Humane Society, or do you have somewhere else to take lost dogs? I need to know that now. That's a need to know for me. And I'm surprised that nobody else has talked about that. Did it? Because I caught it when I re-listened to her testimony like a month ago when I was preparing to do all this. And I'm like, no, nobody takes dogs. Oh, we're getting a flash. Did you guys see that? That must be, that was weird. I don't know what that was. I'm going to remove that. I think they're definitely having problems. I'm going to remove that, get that video out of there. I'm going to just take those videos down. I think they're definitely having videos. I'll make sure and turn in a little ticket that we couldn't watch videos tonight. So let's see what else. Oh yeah. Allie McCabe. Thank you. Sorry that I was calling her Caitlin. They look so much alike. You can definitely tell they're cousins, right? Madam Court Reporter with no readbacks. I think it goes back to witch trials. It would make too much sense to have readbacks. Yeah. Why wouldn't you have readbacks? You know why? I think they think it'll take the juries too long. What do you guys think of that idea? That's why they don't do readbacks, because, oh, well, that'll take the jury days and days more if they get to have readbacks. How do you expect 12 people to remember 8 weeks, right? Was it 8 weeks or 7 of testimony? That's insane. And that's so unfair to the person on trial, whether they did it or not. That's just not justice. That's not right. It's just not right. They've got to fix that. And what do? Do you lobby the congressman? Do you lobby your senators? I mean, that's got to change in Massachusetts. The young people have to stand up and fight against that, because that can be changed. That's something that can be changed, and it doesn't have to stay old school that way. I still am just shocked by that. And then these notebooks that they're allowed to take notes in. Well, you can only write so fast. You're trying to listen. The lawyers are rattling the questions at them. Then they have to leave their notebooks. What do you guys think about that? I don't like that. I think they should be allowed to take them with them or lock them in a locker. Have lockers for the jury where they can lock their notebooks up. Anybody could read those. A bailiff could read them. The judge could read them. Seriously, that is messed up on such a high level. I'm curious what you guys think of that. Julie says some police do have holding areas for animals if they're found. They're in vets' offices. Right. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know about that. So you mean the police have a key to these vets' offices where they can drop off an animal? That's typically the dog patrol, though. That's not typically you don't usually go to the police department with an animal. That's what I'm wondering about. I really am. And I am going to call. I'm going to call and ask them, hey, what do you do when you find a lost dog? I'm just going to innocently ask the dispatcher, what happens if you find a lost dog in Canton? Where do you take it? I'm just interested to know. I just don't know why else would she have said that, right? What was the point of that? That had nothing to do with anything other than establishing an alibi. But how could she know she was going to get to find a dog to try to establish an alibi? I just don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. So much of this case. Lori says, at Julie, this is complete BS. How are those jurors supposed to remember all the key evidence? Yes, 10-week trials. Thanks. I thought it was 7 or 8. It was 10. They can't. I mean, they can't. Nobody can. Our human brains. Plus, think how stressful that is to be on the jury of a murder trial. I mean, or a homicide, whatever they were going for. Premeditated. I mean, they were going for the whole thing. That would be nerve-wracking to have hold someone's life in your hands like that. I wouldn't want it to be me. Let's see here. What is she? Oh, here, let me see what you say. I missed it. Where'd it go? There we go. No. If cops go to a site and find a dog or animal, they take them to the animal holding areas and rent them out, I think. Oh, okay. We are very incestuous in Massachusetts. That's interesting. Well, I'm gonna look into it, though. I really want to know. Here's the thing that would be very interesting. If she took that dog to Canton PD and turned it over, there would have to be what's called a deposition. And they call it different things in different states, but in my state, it's called a deposition. It's a short little report that you write in your CAD system on your little laptop in your car. And you don't have to do a full report. There would have to be a record, because you can't just leave a dog at a police station and have no record that happened. So wouldn't that be a good, what do they call the FOIA, right? The Freedom of Information Act? I want to see the report of the dog that was brought in on this date at this time. Has anybody thought about that? Doing that? I think we might have to do that. That might be my homework for Monday morning. All Finding the Dog committee now lines up with the timeline of Higgins being at Canton PD 1:30ish. Oh, interesting. Let's make a note of that for when we get to review Mr. Brian Higgins. 1:30. Okay, I'm writing that down. Dog PD Allie Higgins. Yes, let's revisit that when we do Mr. Higgins down the road. And I've been trying to kind of go in order. And if that's okay with you guys, I'd like to keep going in order because then it just makes sense of how the trial flowed. Do you remember who comes after Julie? I can't place it. We'll have to look it up because that'll be who we'll do next. But now I don't want to do all of them unless you guys want to. I don't want to do them all. There's some that we don't need to hear because they weren't long and they were annoying. They didn't really do much for us. So I think we should stick to the big guns because that'll give us plenty to do between now and the trial. Let's see here. Yes, and we now know Higgins was on video at 1:30. Absolutely right, Sherry D. So this is really good stuff now. All of a sudden with this dog. Let's see, Lori. It's complete BS. Having the trial for 9 weeks is BS too. Totally unnecessary to ask about snow for a month. Oh yeah, and all of the basketball game and this, that, and the other, and where they sat. I mean, boy, did he have that calculated, right? That was calculated to just have nonsense after nonsense to confuse the jurors so they would have so much in their brains to have to remember. Too much. It's too much. It was a very interesting charade. I didn't even think of that. Sherry D. Yeah, exactly. I think you're talking about the unnecessary, right? 9 weeks, so much baloney going on for that long. Is that what you're referring to, Julie? I want to make sure I knew what you were talking about. The new info about Higgins being on video at 1:30 has added to my thinkings. Oh yeah, definitely. Now I missed everything. Let's see. Oh, your battery's running low. Uh-oh, that's not good. Why is my battery running low? I'm plugged in. Hang on. I'm doing a tech thing. I think my it looks like my cord popped out of the no, it's plugged in. How is my battery running low? Oh, yep. There it goes. It was not plugged in all the way. Tech problem. I probably did that when I was moving it around before. Okay, let me get back up here. So, where were we? Jury fatigue. Yeah, absolutely. Lally, jury fatigue, big time. I think that's what they were going for the whole time. It was like so planned out and so calculated. It's still just so shocking. Yeah, it's really something. But hey, guys, I really appreciate that you didn't get all impatient when we could not get those videos to work. Sometimes StreamYard just doesn't cooperate, and tonight was the night. We tried 3 different channels to try to get Chris Albert's testimony, and it was just too staticky, everybody. If you came in late, we tried for about a half an hour trying different videos, trying to get Chris Albert up tonight so we could review him and go on to Julie. So next week, we're going to just bring Julie up right away. I'll have a whole bunch of different choices, and we'll hope, and I'll write into StreamYard tonight that we had, because they give you a little place to write in how it went. So I'll let them know that we couldn't play video without static tonight, see what they say, and then we can just do Julie and that little bit left. There's not much left of Chris, so we can just do Julie first and then finish off that little bit with Chris, and then we'll see who comes next. But I really appreciate all of your comments, your observations. It's interesting because I don't think we've disagreed on anything. I think we have our theories a little bit here and there, but I think overall we really all agree on what went down. That this was a coordinated effort in the middle of the night to make sure that nobody got caught being responsible for John O'Keefe's passing, and that he was left how long to die in the cold. He was left, and nobody rendered aid and helped him. And it's tragic. A tragic loss of life, should have never happened. As we get into Brian's testimony and Brian Albert and Higgins, I'll let you know kind of my thoughts. I know a lot of people are leaning that this fight happened because Brian Higgins was bragging about kissing Karen and told Brian Albert, and they were all jacked up, for lack of a better way to put it, and they'd been drinking. And I really, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think it was something more nefarious than that. I really do. I really think John found something out that he wasn't supposed to know. And I think Kevin, Chris, and Brian all knew about it, and they were not happy that John found out whatever this was he wasn't supposed to find out. And they wanted to tell him to knock it off. Like, quit doing this, quit looking into this. We're asking you to stop. Because I think John was onto them in some form of some kind of corruption, whether it was related to Sandra Birchmore or if it was related to some type of other nefarious activity that they weren't supposed to be involved with. John found out. That's just my gut feeling on it from day one. I just don't see that as any other way that all these people could possibly be involved. I don't know. What do you guys think? Sherry D, Cat, touch base with Divinity. Divinity said she has a complete playlist of each person's testimony sidebars. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna I'll write that down after we go off the air. I keep the chat box up. I always go back and read all of your chats to make sure I didn't miss any questions that I could address in an email or something that you wanted to tell me that I needed to look up. So I always read all the chats before I close out for the night. So thank you. I will absolutely do that. I'll just hope that we don't have this. We didn't have issues the last 2 weeks with any static, so it must just be a StreamYard deal tonight. Oh, yeah, I don't want to plug in. Of course we plug other YouTube creators. We're all here to work together and to stand for victims and crime and fighting crime. So you can absolutely plug another creator. Yeah, please do recommend it. Gavin Fish has done amazing work on the Ellen Greenberg. I've written him an email, but he's a pretty big guy. I don't know if he's going to write me back, but I've written him an email that I would love to have him on the show to talk to him about how he got involved with it. And he did 8 episodes, I think 8 or 9 episodes on Ellen Greenberg. I've got a lot of my information via fair use from him. And he knows the case inside and out. And now so do I, because I've spent hours going over the video, the footage in the lobby. And I just think there's something nefarious going on in the lobby. If you didn't watch last night, when Sam's in the lobby, after he's already gone upstairs, supposedly, and not been able to get into the apartment because the security lock's on, he comes back down into the lobby. He drops something. And it doesn't look like an accident. It really doesn't. And I'm going to show it next week. Again, once we hear when we live again for Ellen, which is when we're waiting to hear from the judge, his opinion, if they're going to overturn the unaliving to a homicide. We're waiting any day now for that judge, her parents took that to the Supreme Court of Massachusetts. I will show you these videos, these surveillance videos from the lobby. In my opinion, and an anonymous person who contacted me and told me to look at these videos, he drops it on purpose. And then an hour later, right before EMS gets there, Sam has not, I don't even think he's called EMS yet. No, he hasn't. He's on the phone with, I think his cousin came in. He's walking through the lobbies on the phone after this happens. This guy who was in the lobby hour prior and suspicious, and I'll show you next week why I think so, he picks it up. And before he picks it up, he checks over his shoulder. And then he picks it up. And then he heads off camera, stage right, to his right, goes towards where the bathrooms are, where the front door is. And then lo and behold, 1 minute later, Sam gets off the elevator and he came out of the stairs of the elevator, I don't remember, follows this guy, goes the same direction. 3 minutes, Sam's off camera, where this guy went. And then Sam comes back. No way is that a coincidence. There's no way that's a coincidence. So I can't wait to go back over that next week. And I really wish that I could get a hold of Gavin, because I would like to know his opinion on what the anonymous tipster is calling him lobby guy. So I'm calling him lobby guy now. So you can check that out last night in the library, what we talked about, but we're going to go deeper into lobby guy and the footage next week, because I feel like it could be something. I just really do. So let me see if there's any other questions you guys have. I don't think so. Let's see. What's this one? Oh yeah, that's the new lady who does videos on crime scene from a scientific background. Great. That sounds so interesting. I'm so excited to write that down. And did something happen today? I don't know. I took myself off of social media today. I was in court for almost 2 hours with our newest case with I'll just call her Sarah, not our Sarah Ebersol, but another Sarah. That's her kind of stage name right now. I was with her for 2 hours in the Zoom court. So I just tried to stay off of all social media today. Can anybody Google that right now for me? Did the judge come through with the decision? Because I have not. I just needed to be a break from X and from all media. All I found out was that there was that other plane crash in Philadelphia that happened right before we started live. So I don't know anything about that either. I don't know what size plane it was, but it was scary. I saw some video of it, of the explosion, and there's so much fuel on those planes, and it looked like a bomb went off in this neighborhood in Philadelphia. It's just horrific. Yeah, if anybody can just quickly Google Ellen Greenberg for me and tell me if the judge came in today, because he was supposed to come in the last day of the month or the beginning of February. That was what the Greenbergs had told me in an email. So I would really like to know. And Sherry D, yes, yes, yes. What are we yesing to? Wait, I got to catch up. I'm behind. Those 2 videos I mentioned will blow your mind. Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Lori. I'm thrilled. I'll watch them tomorrow morning with my coffee. I have no college football. I'm going to lose my mind. These first few weeks without college football are brutal for me. And they were always brutal for my father, too. I inherited my father's love of college sports and pro sports. And so when football season ends, I'm kind of miserable for a few weeks. But I love basketball. College basketball is awesome. But football is my favorite. So I can ease into basketball. I've already watched a lot of Badger basketball games, and my master's degree is USC Trojans. I've already watched a bunch of their games. And so I will ease into basketball. I'll be okay with it. But I do miss football, and having no college football tomorrow is going to be like, what the heck am I going to do with myself? So I will absolutely do that, and never, ever be afraid to tell us in the chat box another content creator. Everybody's doing good work. Everybody's trying their best to do what they can in true crime, and some entertain you with their true crime. I'm trying to educate you, and we're trying to stand for victims and actually work on their cases. We all have our own little, areas of expertise. So definitely you can share anybody in the chat box anytime. What does it say? Family lawsuit can take 3 officers to trial. I don't know what that is. Oh, wait. Didn't Emmy just change the manner of violence just to homicide? That was their Emmy. I don't think so. I mean, unless something's come out since I last Googled everything, their Emmy was the one that said it was a homicide, but the actual Massachusetts, Philadelphia has not done that yet, as far as I know. What does this one say? Greenberg family can take it. Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. When this all comes out, that this is high level, deep corruption, you guys. High level, deep corruption. Oxymoron, but absolutely. It's scary. It's very scary. I'm nervous because it's so, from what I can tell, because of Sam's uncle, James Schwartzman. The anonymous source this week and last week has told me things that made my sort of already thick, curly, weird hair, frizzy hair curl. Scary stuff. Like, my mom's not happy with me that I'm doing this, by the way. She's not happy about it, because these are bad people. These are very bad people. And that's crime. That's corruption. The people in Clark County, Indiana are bad people. They just didn't murder anybody, as far as we know, or M word. Sorry, YouTube. But in Philadelphia, Ellen Greenberg was absolutely taken. Her life was taken. She did not take her own life. I am absolutely 100% convinced. I've looked at almost everything you can look at now, and so have a lot of other people, and including her family, obviously, and friends. Today, what happened? What? Are you kidding me? It was announced. Oh, the day I take a social media break. Of course. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. This is so exciting. We have to find the press release. Okay, stand by. I'm going to see if I can find it. Everybody take a stretch break. I'm going to take a stretch break. I have to stretch my knee. We have to find this. This is amazing. Thank you so much, you guys. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Oh, it was maybe Nancy Grace went on the air, right? All right, I'm going to take a stretch break. I'm going to look for it. Let me find it. Of course, the day I say no news, no social media, I've been looking every day. Oh my God. This is such good news. Oh my gosh. They must be in tears. I'm so happy for them. Okay, wait, here, is this it? Let me see if I can find it. Is this it? Where's the date on this thing? God, sometimes YouTube isn't it? Sometimes Googling things isn't. Okay, wait. Yes. Okay, it's a lawsuit. It looks like it's the lawsuit, but I think that means that they might be able to overturn something, right? Okay, here it is. Let me try to share the screen with you. Let's see if this is a clip. I'm trying to see if this is a clip or if it's just a article. Can't tell. Well, we could always just read it. Let me see if it's a clip. First, I'll come back with you guys and I'll share my screen. We'll see if it's too scratchy. I'll just have to read it. Let me see what we can get here. All right. Let's see. Did it come up for you guys? Yep, it's up. Okay, now let me go back into this room where I have to go to the studio. So yes, okay. A Philadelphia judge ruled Friday that a lawsuit can go forward against several city officials over the handling of the death of Ellen Greenberg, a 27-year-old teacher whose death was ruled a suicide despite being found with 20 stab wounds. The judge dismissed the lawsuit for one defendant, a police supervisor who was a sergeant at the time of Greenberg's death. Why? He's a sergeant. But other officials with the city's police department and medical examiner's office remain defendants. Oh gosh, I hope it's the medical examiner. The other thing I found out last week was that the medical examiner miscounted the bruises that she had in various stages of healing. There were 11. She actually had 11, not 7, in various stages of healing on both of her hips, her shins, her legs. He was abusing her, you guys, for months, maybe years. They were together maybe 3 years. So just in recap, Greenberg's fiance, Sam Goldberg, claimed that he went to the gym while she was preparing dinner on January 26th and came back to find the door of their apartment deadbolted. Well, it's not true. It wasn't a deadbolt. It was that safety latch thing that hotels have. So that's actually not correct. When he couldn't reach her by phone, he told investigators he forced his way into the apartment and found her dead with stab wounds to the head, neck, and chest. Because he never reported anything about the back. I'm trying to see if there's an actual clip, a news clip of this, but it doesn't look like it. So I'm going to go back. Oh, there's Nancy Grace. Nope, that's not it. Oh, wait, is this current, do you think? We can play a little of this. We don't want to get a spoil.
Fresh Florida greens. These leafy legends turn
Commercial.
any dish into a feast of freshness. Wafer thin,
Trying to
they
see what
provide
date- I
layers
don't
of
see a date
vitamins
on
and
this.
minerals and fiber. From salads to smoothies, they're the green machine that keeps us on the go with a versatility that makes other vegetables
Come on,
green with
commercial.
envy. Spinach, kale, romaine, these crispy superheroes
Panel to break it down and put it
in an attempt to get her official cause of death removed.
is by around us between politics and this and that. This family is leading a crusade for justice. Won't you join us? Let me tell you what happened. First of all, take a listen to this.
Nearly a decade of long days and late night thoughts. But for Josh and Sandy Greenberg, it's been worth every minute.
We didn't go away and we're not going away.
For years, the couple struggled to get anyone to reinvestigate the death of their 27-year-old daughter, Ellen, an elementary school teacher living in Philadelphia with her fiance.
The break we had in this whole thing.
Can you
Then
guys hear
just
that
last
okay?
month, a small victory. A Philadelphia judge ruled the couple could move forward with a lawsuit against the city's medical examiner in an attempt to get her official cause of death removed from the record.
There's a murderer out there, a killer, somebody who brutally attacked somebody with multiple stab wounds and let her bleed to death and left her for dead.
Though that's not how the city sees it. Instead, investigators concluded Ellen stabbed herself 20 times in her kitchen.
You were hearing our friend Brian Sheehan at Local 21 News. What happened to Ellen? Well, I can tell you this much. She did not commit suicide by stabbing herself 20 times in
I
her
love
kitchen floor.
Nancy's
That
the
did
best.
not happen with me. An all-star panel to break it down and put it back together again. First of all, Daryl Cohen, former prosecutor in inner city Atlanta, now defense attorney. Dr. Angela Arnold, renowned psychiatrist, joining us from the Atlanta jurisdiction at AngelaArnoldMD.com. The private investigator for the Greenberg family, Tom.
I'm going to go to my email and find whatever you guys just sent me. I'm going to do that right now, but I'll let you listen to this while I do that, because we can listen, because we're using it in fair use, because we're educating, so we shouldn't have any problems.
Brennan, he's been on the case trying to turn the tide toward justice for years now. Joseph Scott Morgan, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, now the star of a new hit series, Poisonous Liaisons, on the True Crime Network. Brian Sheehan, whose voice you just heard at WHP TV Local 21, and two very special guests that we have been longing to hear from, Sandy and Josh Greenberg. These are Ellen's parents. Welcome to everyone, but first to Sandy and Josh Greenberg. I can't tell you how much it means to us to have you with us today. First of all, our condolences to you for what you've been through, not only when you lost your daughter, but having to fight this fight for so many years. Mrs. Greenberg, I just, what was your reaction when you learned that your daughter's death was ruled a suicide?
It was tragic. It's like the curtain went down. The world turned upside down, and we were heartbroken. We were devastated, and it took a lot of sorting out, because it was a very low point in our lives.
I just don't understand how anybody in their right mind could believe with 20 stab wounds.
She's just such a kind, wonderful lady.
That could possibly, in any way, be a suicide. Unheard of, especially if you are familiar with the method and assessment of homicide and suicide. This ruling defies everything that's logical, that is. Let's take it from the beginning. How did the whole thing start? Take a listen to our dear friend, Dr. Oz.
27-year-old Ellen Greenberg was a first-grade teacher in Philadelphia. She and her boyfriend of 3 years had just become engaged and began planning their wedding. January 26, 2011, Ellen's school let out early due to an oncoming blizzard. On her way home, she filled up her gas tank. She was at home with her fiancé until 4:45 p.m. when he reportedly went to the gym in their apartment complex. When he arrived back to the apartment less than an hour later, he says he found the apartment locked from the inside. He claims he banged on the door and received no response. Over the next 22 minutes, he would try to convince Ellen to open the door through text messages.
He claims. According to the fiancé,
I love
he's with her until 4:45 p.m. He goes to the gym right there in their apartment complex. He comes back less than 1 hour later, and suddenly the door is locked from the inside. As I recall, and I'm going to have to get the private investigator to remind me, as I recall, she had been cooking dinner. So in less than 1 hour, everything has changed. She's gone suicidal, stabbed herself 20 times, and she's dead in the kitchen floor.
Yeah, there's no way that happened. We know that didn't happen, because we talked about all of this in our last two lives about Ellen Greenberg, and there's no way that happened. But it's so sad every time I hear her mom's voice, regardless if it's a podcast or I'm seeing her interviewed by one of the TV stations. It just shakes me to my core. All right, let me pull up this next piece here that we got from. Let me get rid of that one that we just got out of my email. Let me grab it. See what they have to say. Stop sharing that screen. We're going to share a new screen. I can't believe the day I take a social media break, for the first day in like a month, that it finally came in. They said it might be the 31st, but then I I think that when I got the other email, they were talking more like February, first week of February. So this is amazing. Let me see, where is it? Must be this one. Share. Okay, is it coming through? Yep. Okay, let me go back. There we go. Oh, these ads drive me crazy. Yeah, it says 5 hours ago. So it must have just come out right shortly before we started living, right about the same time as, isn't that weird? The plane crash was in Philadelphia almost at the same time that this was hitting the news. That's so strange. That is really, really weird. Oh, absolutely, Lori. I've mentioned, in fact, I'll tell you, I was going to tell you guys, I could pull up the email. She sent an email last week and said, make sure and tell all of your followers and anyone that comes to your channel and your friends and anybody that's helping you, how much we appreciate the advocacy for Ellen. It was touching. And guys, we also got a thank you from Nancy Grace. I had sent Nancy Grace something thanking her for helping me stay up on this case, you know, years ago, and telling her that I was live streaming now and that she was sort of somebody I was aspiring to be like in some ways. I could never be Nancy Grace. I'm just not harsh enough of a person, but I like her. I really like her. And she sent a thank you. I don't know if it was her, if it was her administrative assistant, but we got a thank you from the Nancy Grace camp. That was really something. And I really, really appreciated that a lot. And I actually sent something back telling them about Sarah Ebersol and Jason Veach, the two Florida cases, because they're both so bizarre in their own rights and no justice, and to see if she would consider covering one of those for the families. So here is what Sherry D just sent me. Thank you. It says that the case of Ellen Greenberg's death against the city of Philadelphia can go to a trial. A judge ruled on Friday. So this is really something. I was so hopeful. Let's see what they break down the details. It's a big development in the lawsuit filed by the Greenbergs, which accuses the city of falsely labeling their daughter's 2011 stabbing death a suicide in order to cover up a botched homicide investigation. So they're going after the whole botched homicide investigation. They have never once accused Sam, but I know they believe that's what happened. Attorney Joe, is it Pedrasta, jury selection in the trial will begin on February 3rd with, oh my gosh, you guys, jury selection on February 3rd. That's Monday. Wow. Opening statements starting that day or Tuesday. This is crazy. After all these years of waiting, and now it's like, boom. Wow. The judge ruled on January 31st that the medical examiners, Marlon Osborne and Sam Galino, must testify. Oh, you guys, you're going to go crazy over this. I've seen these two guys' interviews. Lie. Oh, this is going to be insane. And along with homicide detective John McNamee, who, he has to, I'll do an anti-Deb. He was paid not to investigate Ellen. It has to be such corruption. Oh boy, I can't even imagine the wheels that are spinning in New York right now in Sam's brain. It probably looks like a hamster wheel. I'm hoping we're going to prove that Ellen did not commit the S word. Ellen's father, Josh Greenberg, told NBC 10, that's what this is all about, justice for Ellen. I am so happy I could cry. I will probably cry when I get off this live stream, guys. This is the best news. This just ends a terrible week in so many ways, in such an amazing way. I'm just so happy. I can't even tell you how happy this makes me. I am just beyond thrilled. I have followed this case since it happened. I had just gone on a duty disability. I was just working in a part-time position as a private investigator. I hated this from day one. This case made me mad. And there wasn't really a lot of there was Facebook. Twitter hadn't come on. I don't think Twitter had come on the scene yet. If it did, it was new and I wasn't on it. I know Instagram wasn't around. It was just Facebook. And so most of this I got from the news, right? And so, oh gosh, this is great. So Emma D, Kat, we like you best just the way you are. I'm 90% convinced Nancy Grace, she's done a lot of good, but we never hear her apologize. No, I know. And what I don't like too is I try so hard not to interrupt my guests. I get excited and I want to talk to my guests, but I really do try hard not to interrupt them because I want them to talk and I bring them on here to talk. So she does that sorry, Nancy. I know you're not watching, but I don't mean to criticize you because you're just so good at your job and you're just so unique. But yes, she does that. And she can be almost mean to her guests sometimes too. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I'm not on Nancy Grace. No kidding, Julie. Wow, I don't believe this. There's jury selection, you guys, on Monday. So, oh boy, we have to figure this out now, how we're going to cover this. I don't think I have the stamina to live stream an entire, but I could put it up. I could put it up like Mike. Mike didn't commentate, right? When he does the Karen Reed trial, he just puts it up. He puts the chat box up. I can do that. I'm here. I'm retired. I can even come in and out and make comments too, if we want to. Let's figure this out. This is amazing news. I can't wait to email. I'll wait till tomorrow because the Greenbergs have had quite a day. I can't wait to email them and my anonymous source is going through the roof. I bet I have an email from her. And Marie, who was our guest a few weeks ago, has been following this case for years and years. She's probably thrilled. So I have to email both of those ladies. See if they want to come on a live. I may have to do, I don't normally live on Saturdays, but there's no college football tomorrow. I may have to live about this. Just give it a half an hour so that I can go over everything and see if I can get a hold of the Greenbergs. Maybe I'll let you know either Saturday or Sunday. This is just too big after all the coverage that we've done of Ellen. I am just so happy for her. I can't even put it into words. And thank you to all of you that have stuck this out, that have been to Ellen's live shows and that have asked questions and have been concerned about her and maybe shared out her hashtag Justice for Ellen Greenberg. Oh, her Facebook page must be going nuts. Ooh, let's take a peek at her Facebook page. Because there's a Justice for Ellen Facebook page. Let's look at it. Let's see if anybody's been talking. It's a Friday night. People get busy and they do things. So let's see. Oh, shoot. I might not remember my password. I may have to, go on my phone and tell you what I see and read you what I see. Let's see if it's making me type in characters. Okay. KZ, it looks like a capital P. I hate these things, don't you? Sometimes I don't get them right. And then I have to ask for something new. Think I got it. Small K, small Z, big P, capital M, capital U, capital W for UW-Madison. There we go. Let's see if that's right, if it lets me on. The password oh, shoot. It must have my old password. Gosh, darn it all. All right. I don't remember it right now. And I'm going to have to, I just changed it recently because there was, so much weird stuff going on with Facebook. Let me quickly go on my phone so we can see what the reaction is in the Ellen. You guys can go too. If you go to Facebook, it's called Justice for Ellen Greenberg. If you want to join that Facebook group, last count, they were like, I want to say 45,000. I'm going to look it up right now. Stand by. Let's see. Free Karen Reed. No, that's not the one I want. I want Justice for Ellen Greenberg. I actually found a Facebook group. The Suzanne Morphew's case has not gotten a lot of attention. It's in Colorado. It's sort of going cold. It's open, but it's sort of going cold. And I did find one. So I'm going to do a live stream just on Suzanne Morphew. That case will blow your mind if you don't know that much about it. She was the school teacher in Colorado that went missing on Mother's Day. They didn't find her for 2 years later. They arrested and unarrested her husband, Barry. The evidence points to Barry. They didn't feel they had enough. They hadn't found her body yet. They released him, but they released him. I think it's called without prejudice. Sometimes I get those two confused. Prejudice without prejudice. But what one of them means is that they could retry him. And that, I think, is what they've been trying to do. They're trying to piece more evidence together, maybe that they didn't share with the community prior. But her daughters have always stood by their dad. They have never once believed that he could have done this. I totally believe he could have done this. There is just, it's just the evidence is there, and it's heartbreaking. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll always be the first to admit it. When I get my gut feelings, I think they're right a lot. But if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. But I'm trying to find Ellen's page, and I don't know why I can't pull it up. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see what we got here, guys. If they have started posting yet on this page. Well, I don't see anything yet, but I guess it's Friday night. I can't believe not one person. Oh, here it is. Oh, guys, this is so great. I wish I could pull up the computer. So there's Ellen's picture. And it's one of the pictures of her. There's so many. And it says, we are going to trial with an exclamation mark. And then there's an article attached from CBS News that we just read. And then someone else wrote, oh my gosh, I didn't remember this. Today would have been Ellen's 40th birthday. Oh no, that's in June. Yeah, she was born in June. Somebody must have posted that, reposted it. Yeah, that's so far. That looks like how many? Oh my gosh, there's 129 comments. So everybody's saying at last, keep strong, the Greenbergs. My heart is pounding with joy and sorrow, says Ashley May. Great news, keep up the fight. Yeah, just tons of great comments, over 120 and 860 some thumbs up already there. I just gave it a thumbs up. I'll comment in a few minutes. This is spectacular. So thanks everybody. What a kind of a cool way to find out about this while we're live streaming tonight. And we had technical issues, so we went rogue and did a show I wasn't even planning to do. So thanks everybody. It's great to meet you, Lori Hamilton. I hope you'll be back. We'd love to see you again. Julie and Emma D. And I know that DB had to leave because of her bad shoulder. And everybody who's been with us tonight, I think we were up to 20 at one point who were watching the show live with us, and anybody on replay, thanks for all your support. I appreciate being able to do this so much. There was so many different little part-time jobs I've tried when I was still working part-time before I retired, after my neck injury, and I had to step down from UWPD, and I liked them all. Being a PI was kind of weird. I have to say it wasn't really my thing, but I tried it when I lived in Colorado for 2 years, and it was interesting. And there I saw a lot of bizarre things. I served a lot of bizarre warrants and court documents, and met a detective who was working on the JonBenet case, and that was pretty crazy too. He was amazing, kind of like a true old school PI. Like he dressed like a PI. He reminded me of Humphrey Bogart, kind of. So that was cool. And then other various little part-time jobs I've had that didn't have to do with law enforcement. But when I started Social Change Warriors 5 years ago, I really wanted to give back to communities, because being a community officer was the highlight of my life and of my career. Helping people, not writing tickets, not stopping people on traffic stops. That was not the highlight of my career. Those were jobs I had to do, arrests I had to make. But being able to start a neighborhood watch program for UW-Madison, being able to start a alcohol awareness program for teenagers, that's what I loved. That's what I loved doing. And so I started Social Change Warriors to try to figure out a way that communities could come together and do like what they're doing in Canton. Stand against corruption, stand against dirty cops. I was seeing too much of it, too many cops doing not what they were supposed to be doing, going against their sworn oaths. It bothered me all the time. I talked to my mom about it. She used to work for the Department of Justice, and she's the one who gave me the hashtag Just Us, because when I would call her and she would answer her phone and I'd say, hey mom, and then she'd say, hi, this is Justice. And then her and I started talking about, when I started live streaming, I said, I'm going to use that as our hashtag Just Us, because that's really all we got at the end of the day. If you can't trust your local government, if you can't trust your school board or your police, and you can't get them voted out because there's too much corruption, then you have to fight. You have to protest. You have to stand out like everybody's been doing in Canton and Stoughton. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to rally people in their communities, but it's very hard to break into this kind of line of work. I mean, I don't get paid to do this, but it's hard to do. So for 5 years, I was doing pre-recordeds. I was doing some public speaking at libraries and at police departments. And I taught a course for USC on how to do community organizing and put up community PowerPoints and webinars. Basically, I taught students how to make webinars for social good. So I liked it, but it wasn't it. And when I started watching the Karen Read trial, and I started watching some of the other live streamers, and I thank all of them because they motivated me. They motivated me to try something that I could possibly do that involved all my careers, journalism, policing, and social work, and do something to help families and help survivors, families, the victims' families, and survivors. I want to help this new young lady as well in the best way that I can for her to stay safe. So this has been a joy and an honor for me since August to meet all of you. You're all fantastic. You're all knowledgeable. You're smart. You care about other people. You don't just care about yourself and whatever you want to do on a given day. You care enough to want to come to a live stream and stand for people. Or some of you have been going out in the cold and standing in Massachusetts. So thank you. Thank you for the honor to be able to do this, to be able to live stream. I truly, truly appreciate it. So I will let you know. I'll put it out on, well, obviously you can go to the channel and see if I schedule something for tomorrow, but I may try to pull something together quick tomorrow and just do an Ellen Greenberg breaking news, because she deserves it and her parents deserve it. And it can always be watched on replay. So I'll let you know if I can pull that together tomorrow or Sunday. Definitely. And any other questions before we go? Oh yeah, Sam Goldberg's statement. The one for, is it a new one? Did he do it today, or is it the one he did 2 weeks ago? I showed the one he did 2 weeks ago in last week's live stream. Tell me which one you mean. Julie says there's crazy stuff going down tonight. The FBI's being purged, oh, I know. I can't even, don't even get me started. And this is nothing against politics. I don't care who you voted for, but once the president's in, he's in. And then regardless if I voted for him or not, I didn't agree. I voted for Joe Biden. I didn't agree with a lot of stuff he did. And I would tell people that, and I would have debates and we would talk about it. And then I didn't vote for Trump, but I don't agree with what he's doing right now. So I could have a political night if some of you want to come, and we can be nice to each other, and you can tell me why you think it's okay, and I'll tell you why I think it's not. And we can be civil, because if we can't be civil as adults and talk about religion and politics, that is not good. That's a problem, right? People have a problem communicating. If they can't share if they're afraid, like if I should be afraid to say anything about politics because people are going to unfollow me and unsub me, that's terrible. Like I would never defame you. I would never say anything bad about your stance on a certain policy. I would just want to know why. And I would want you to ask me why. Like, why do you want that policy? And I don't want it. And let's talk about it. I mean, I've had a couple political nights. I do them on Tuesdays with a guy named Digital Warrior. He's super informed, super intelligent. He's interesting. And I have a professor of mine that wants to come on a Tuesday night, Dr. Charles Lewis. And he's a Democrat, but he's very bipartisan on lots of issues. He's very well spoken. He's written a lot of books. He's a good man. So I think it'd be fun, maybe once every 6 weeks, to do a political night on Tuesday nights and invite everybody. And we all talk and debate and try to learn from one another, because that's what we're here for. We're here to learn. And the bottom line is that Washington, D.C. is supposed to protect all of us. We're supposed to write laws that protect people, not that hurt people. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. You should want to care about the people in our country. And we should all get along whenever we can and talk things over and debate. Healthy debate is so good for our brains. So let's see. I fell behind in the chat now. I hate it when that happens, but sometimes that does. I'm going to have to, now that Amber has had to step down for her family, which we miss you, Amber. If you're watching tonight, or if you watch on replay, it's lonely without you. But we know you have to care for your family, and that's okay. And that's absolutely what you have to do. I support it 100%. But we'll look forward to when you come back as a guest, because we'd like to have you. But this is, so share Goldberg's statement. Yes, I can. Where is it? Wait, let me go up here. I think I can find it real quick. Is this a new statement that he just made today, guys? Is that what it is? Because I have his other statement in my screen deck, in my case deck. Sam Goldberg. Let's see. Sam Goldberg. Today. Okay, let's see if that's what it is. Is he going to stick with the same old crap that he always sticks with, that it was she was having mental health issues? Where is Sam Goldberg now? No, we don't care about that. Maybe that's not. Hang on, I'm coming back in the room so I can see what you guys are saying. Oh, yes, I'll let her know. We miss you, Amber, but don't wish it away. Enjoy your baby. Oh my gosh, yes. My kids are 35 and 37. The time flies way too fast. When you have a child, they are first, always first. No doubt. Emma D, absolutely. Let's see here. I'll listen and watch to all sides of an issue. Yeah, me too. I love talking. I just love talking and debating with people that don't always see it the way I do. It's so good to be able to talk and chat about everything. All right, Lori, it says, can you share Goldberg's statement? Can you tell me? Because I don't know. Because remember, I missed the media today. Is this a today statement that he made after the news came out? Or is this the one that I already have? Let me know. If it's the one from 2 weeks ago, I can go grab it in my deck. If it's a news statement, I have to go look for it in the media. So somebody let me know in the chat, what am I looking for? Because I'll go, let me pull up Ellen's deck really quick. Let me get rid of this one. I have his statement in there, so I can read that to you. It was absolute crap from 2 weeks ago. Made me so mad. So we can read that again anyway, in case you guys weren't at that live show and haven't seen the replay. I'll be happy to read his bogus statement. You know what's interesting, guys, is that I bet you any money his lawyer, so his cousin and his uncle James Schwartzman have the same lawyer. Why do they need a lawyer, right? After all these years, why do they need a lawyer? And for him to put a statement out 2 weeks ago, right after the Goldbergs had this hearing and we're in wait for this decision, right? Isn't that just, that was lawyer driven for sure. Just to remind, just so you guys, let me put this up. Let me share this with you. I'll just share the screen. Let me get rid of this one. Stop screen. There we go. I'm just like my grandma Ethel. Rest in peace, Grandma Ethel. She lived to be 90. Absolute dear of a woman. All of the girls in my family, we talk to ourselves. And when I'm with you guys, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to myself. But I do. I talk to myself all day long when I'm at home doing errands, doing chores, whatever I'm doing. Let me go. Let me see if I can get. I'll just share it this way right now because it'll come up quicker. All right. You guys can see that, right? Is it up? Yes. Okay. Now let me make myself small. Let me make myself go away. No, I don't like that. I'm just going to put up my deck like I normally do. You just can't see it very good. So let's get rid of that. That's not going to work. We're going to go do like we always do. We're just going to go to present and add slides. There we go. That's much better. All right, let's go find Sam's statement from a couple of weeks ago. Those are just pictures. This is a picture of where I learned how to ice skate in Madison, Wisconsin. It's called Tenney Park. If you wanted to check those out, I included that because I talked about the plane crash and the skaters and how much skating meant to my family when we were growing up. So let me run through this quick and find Sammy's statement. I can't stand him. I can barely stand to look at his picture. That was him going from, if you go through these doors, that's the gym. This is the stairwell. And then there's another set of double doors right ahead of him that goes out into the lobby. And in fact, maybe tomorrow is when we're going to break down all this footage now that we know what's going on. It'll be even more exciting to break down the footage. So this is lobby guy. And what I'm concerned about is, and I told this to the anonymous tipster, I'm concerned that these two are not the same person, because his hair looks a lot puffier and thicker than his hair. His face looks thicker than his face. So I want to I have other clips that show it better to determine if it's just the camera angle, if it's bad lighting, the angle that he was facing the camera possibly. But what's really eerie is, let's just say these are two different people. They're both wearing khaki pants. They're both wearing black. This is lobby guy with a bulge in his pocket. After he's been in the bathroom, after he's been seen in another clip, dabbing what looks like a Kleenex to his eyebrow. That's what I'll show you tomorrow. This is another picture of who the anonymous tipster thought was lobby guy. But look at how thick this guy is. How could a camera angle make someone who's this thin look this thick? I don't get it. Like, that's weird to me. Now look at this guy. He's in the lobby at approximately shortly after EMS gets there. So EMS is upstairs right now with Sam and all the police and fire. He's got khaki pants on. He's got weird kind of brownish, grayish looking shoes. He's got a black jacket and he's got kind of puffy hair. I mean, I'm going to try to blow this guy up so we can look tomorrow. Now, he could have just been an innocent person. The guy on the right could be innocent, lives in the building, has no clue what's going on. But this guy on the left is not innocent. He was in the building going up and down the stairs with bulge in his pocket, going to the bathroom, dabbing a Kleenex on his forehead. Looks like he has a cut above his eyebrow. I want to show you more video of this lobby. when we do our update on Ellen, either tomorrow or Sunday. So let me find his statement that he, okay, just ignore all this trigger alert. Sorry, guys. I'm going to move this down. I'm just going to move this down to the, down and go through these. Hang on. I'm going to go. I just don't want you to have to look at those right now. It's too late at night. I don't want to look at them. They hurt my soul. Is that Sam's? Let me see if that's it. No, that's not it. I'm trying to find where I don't remember where I put Sam's statement. Oh yeah, it's towards the end because it was recent. Duh. Sorry about that. It's got to be way down towards the end. This is the big deck. This is all my case information. I make a case file on every single person we're covering. So right now there's 8. I have 8 case files, and most of them have up to 70 slides now because they keep getting bigger every day. So here was the breaking news. Oh my gosh. Do you guys want to hear are you guys tired? I'm so excited right now. Do you guys want, I'll show it to you tomorrow. We'll get it tomorrow. I showed the interview of the security guard, and it was so awesome. And he was so frank and truthful, and he is pissed. He is pissed that he was misrepresented. He accused Sam of lying. He actually said, I know you're a liar and you know you're a liar. That was, to me, epic. When I love this kid, I call him a kid because he's so young, Brian Etten, he was great with the gap. So here he is. This is Philip Hanton. Sam lied in his police report and told everybody that this gentleman, who's the concierge of the lobby, went with him to the apartment and watched him break the door down. And Philip Hanton made a sworn statement years ago that he did not do that. And then now he got interviewed by Brian, and he said right on the air, I did not go with him. And he even said, like I said, he said, I know Sam's lying and Sam knows he's lying. And it's very telling the way he says it. So we'll show this interview tomorrow or Sunday, depending on when it's best for me to do the live. I'm still looking for Sam's. Where is that's about the judge going in the apartment. So that's not it. There's just I have so much information. Here we go. After 14 years of silence, amazing, right? 14 years of silence. He sends an email to CNN. And this is just weeks ago when we were waiting for the judge to come back. So out of the blue, unimaginably, in the years that have passed, and this says my logo's over there. I have had to endure the unimaginable passing of my future wife and the pathetic and despicable, big words there, Samo, attempts to discredit my reputation and her privacy by creating a narrative that embraces lies, distortions, and falsehoods in order to avoid the truth. Mental illness is very real and has many victims, Greenberg wrote to CNN. Please, oh my gosh, and this is the thing, guys, he never once considered that someone else hurt Ellen. From the get-go, he blamed it on her, unaliving herself. Now, that is not normal, let me tell you. Families often completely don't want to consider that. They want to consider every other possibility but that. So this is crazy. So that was his statement. I don't know if he's made one today. Did anybody happen to check? Because I like I said, I'm finding this out with you guys live on the air that they get to go to court on Monday and pick the jury. I'm just beside myself with happiness. This is just crazy good. So I'll remove that, and let's see. I just put that back up for now. No, I don't need that. That one can go away too. We'll put that away. This is fantastic. Let's see here. That's big news. Here we go. Dear Ellen's parents, and yes, I'm sure they cried a sigh of relief. When I write them an email tomorrow morning, I will tell them every one of your names that was live tonight. I will say, these were the people in my live last night, and I'll tell them who was in live last night, and they are all thinking of you and wishing you the best. I'll just put your first names. I won't use your last names. Let's see. Discredit my reputation. That statement is assault. Yes, thank you. That's assault, ma'am, and thank you. I don't know how that started. I missed that one. I try to make it, but some nights I'm just not able to be on the screen. I have to just be reading my book and chilling out, and I don't go on my screen. I don't remember how that started. Is that from the Thank You Paul videos? That's assault. Is that where that's from? When he's teaching self-defense? That's crazy though. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I'm so happy I was with you all. I'm so happy I didn't find this out by myself. I would have just been dancing around and I would have not known what to do with myself. I'm so grateful that I was on live with all of you, wonderful people who care about justice and victims. So this is fantastic. Oh yeah. Grant Smith Ellis Towel. Oh, oh, that character. How did he even get involved in is it because he lives in Canton or does he live near Canton? I don't know that much about him. Honestly, guys, I try not to pay too much attention to him and and Yellow Cottage Tales. I just don't like to listen to either one of them. There is something just diabolically wrong with both of them. And I try not to pay any attention to the Kate Peters stuff. I mean, I feel bad for Aiden that there was false accusations and that they were able to do that witness tampering, which is just absurd to charge him with that when he's a journalist, investigative journalist. I feel bad for him, but I can't follow all that stuff. Those women they need severe, sorry guys, I can't diagnose you, but I can tell you from my experience and training and having had my master's degree now for 7 years that you all need counseling. Please get counseling. This is just my opinion. I'm not diagnosing you, but please go to counseling, get your shit together, stop living on the internet and stop hating someone so much that has taken over your lives, ladies. I mean, Lindsay, Kate, please get help. There's so many wonderful therapists and counselors out there. You're both mothers. You need to get help. You can't allow your children to live in this negative environment that you put on your family with this obsession you have. It's just disgusting. I mean, does anybody think that this is okay? I mean, doesn't anybody in their families counsel them and say, individually, because I don't even know if they're speaking to each other. Because like I said, I try not to pay attention to that little corner of the Karen, because it has nothing to do with Karen Read in a way. I mean, the witness intimidation obviously does, but what these two ladies have been doing to Aiden has nothing to do with Karen Read, other than 1 minute Kate says Karen Read is innocent and she's wearing free Karen Read t-shirts. And then the next minute she's siding with this fake, as Aiden calls her, the fake victim, which because she's not really a victim if she lied and none of that really happened, right? And that's what most people believe. Oh yeah, that's right. His mother is that big lawyer. What's her name, guys? She's a lawyer and an author. And does she live in Canton or near Canton? I know she's very famous. I know her name. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Can somebody type that for me? Because I know her name, but now I can't think of it. It's a lot bigger and more involved, like the Camp Shitty. Exactly. Things always are way worse than what people really know, because if they don't pay attention to it and they don't want to, they don't really know. It's just they only know the tip of the iceberg. They don't know what's underneath the water. There's always a lot more underneath the water. When there's an iceberg, it's bad, because what's underneath is even worse. And that is the truth, guys. Murphy, that's right. Her name is Murphy. Yeah. Oh, I've watched some of her stuff. She's over the top. Yeah, they live somewhere near, not far though, right? They're not super far. Are they closer to Boston? Maybe. Isn't that where she works? Yeah, I have seen her. She's really something. I can't stand to listen to her for very long at all. So, hey, did anybody see what happened with Tom CPU and Dennis Sweeney? I didn't. Again, I've been trying to stay off the Twitter and everything the last couple of days and just focus on the cases for my victims I'm standing for. I did have I can't tell you guys this yet. I hate doing that to you, but I did have a small break today in the Sarah Ebersol case, not where she is, but information wise, something that might help. So I won't know more till Monday. So I spent a lot of time on Ellen this week and on Sarah and on Kara. And Kara and I had a conference call with the lead detective, trying to talk to him and explain to him why this is so messed up and why he needs to consider reopening the case. We pitched it, both Kara and I. We stayed pretty calm, except when he told me that it's acceptable to bring a hatchet into a bar in Florida. I kind of lost it there for a few minutes, but I was on the phone. Last time we were in person at the Volusia County Sheriff's with the captain and the lieutenant, I was good. Kara was really good. I had a moment or two where I got a little chippy with these guys because they were kind of being snotty to me about Wisconsin. And I'm like, yeah, well, in Wisconsin, we have laws where you can't bring a hatchet into a bar, which makes more sense to me than a law where you can bring a hatchet into a bar. So I got a little chippy with them when I was there in person, but it's just insane. So I really have not been on social media. I have not had time to go find out. But what was the reasoning? What happened? Why were they having an argument out there during their standout? I don't get it. Does anybody know before we sign off for the night? But I'll go look, because tomorrow when I don't have college football, while I'm figuring out what to do about our breaking news about Ellen and when to live stream, I will look into it because I'm curious, because I think they've all done such a great job and they're all on the same side. They're on the same team. They all want Karen Read to be freed and justice for John O'Keefe. So nobody should be arguing or fighting. There's no cause for it or reason for it. It's just not, it's not beneficial to anyone anymore. So I hope that got resolved and maybe they apologized. I just don't know what started it, but I'll look into it. Maybe we'll mention it tomorrow. I thank you all so much. I appreciate you guys. Again, thank you. And I'm so grateful. I was with all of you. There were like 15 of us in the room when we found out about Ellen. I'm so happy I was with all of you. I can't tell you. So, onward, upward, we will continue standing for victims of crimes and their families until justice is served. If justice can't be served, because we are not miracle workers and justice can't always be served, then we hope to help the family with the coping mechanism of, I feel terrible for Justin Root's family. I'm going to reach out to her and see if she would like to come on our live stream. I met Anne Marie, one of her friends. Anne Marie's brother was killed in a similar fashion. He was killed while he was in custody in Reno, Nevada. He was on vacation. She was my very first live stream. I haven't looked at that in a while, but I keep in touch with Anne Marie. Anne Marie and Justin Root's sister, they formed a foundation with other family members of victims who died in police custody or in jail custody. So I would love to have Anne Marie and Justin Root's sister together, tell us about their foundation, talk to us about, they didn't get justice. Anne Marie got no justice. And now we know Justin Root's sister is not going to get justice. So I would really like to speak to both of them, find out how they're doing, how they're coping, and hear more about, so we can share out about their foundation. It would be really great. So yes, I know, I'm glad to hear you miss college football too. I hate this time of the year. I mean, I love spring and it's just starting now to warm up here again. We had a very cold winter in Florida. I went through almost all my propane gas out in my tank for heat. It never happens in the whole 4 years I've lived in this house. It's lasted 6 months, 9 months, a year. It ran out in 3 months because we've had to have the heat on solid because Zach and I get cold easy living down here. But it's been in the 40s a lot of nights, in the 50s during the day for weeks and weeks and weeks. So we finally got up to 70s today. I don't know if that'll last because February usually has some cold days too, but it'll be spring soon. All of our leaf droppers will start getting leaves way before all of you up north get them. So I do like spring, but I love football. Football season's my favorite. I love fall. Even here, we have a little bit of a fall that starts in November. So yeah, I miss it when it's not on until it comes on again. So I'm excited to watch the Super Bowl because I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, but my next favorite team is the Kansas City Chiefs. Sorry to all of you out east that are cheering for the Eagles. And I know Amber's from Pennsylvania, but I like the Eagles. I'll cheer for them during the season, but I want to see the Chiefs get this dynasty. I think it would be epic. I got to go to a Chiefs Packer game when I was 10 and I wore half Packer, half Chiefs. And I was 10 years old and it was just the coolest thing. And so I have to cheer for my Chiefs, but I'm hoping it's a really good game, really close, so we can all have fun on football Sunday. So Lori, great to meet you. Thank you for all of your awesome suggestions and advice. I hope we see you again for any of our other live streams. You're always welcome to email me if you have questions, suggestions, if there's anything that you know of that we should cover. I know last night, I think it was Sarah D, right, that mentioned a cold case. I wrote that down. So we might have to consider that. I've never done a cold case. So I did get to help with one you know what? I'm going to tell you guys about this sometime. I got to help when I was on light duty after I hurt my neck with one of our UW-Madison cold cases. And it's epically sad. And so I know a lot about it, and I have never checked back on that recently. The detective that was in charge of it, he swore he was going to solve it someday, but he passed away. And I felt so bad. He was such a good guy. And I felt terrible that he didn't get to solve it. He came so close a couple times. He had new persons of interest. So I will tell you about that case. That is a sad, sad case right from my unit. It happened on the UW-Madison campus. It's been cold for years and years. I want to say it happened in 80, maybe 86. Maybe 80. I might have been a junior in high school when it happened. I don't remember, but I'll tell you about it because I actually got to help with it a little bit. So that might be something interesting for us just to talk about and look into. But I definitely want to think about looking into what Sherry D shared with me, and maybe we'll start a cold case in March. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this Ellen trial too. All right, I am out of here. It's great to have all of you. I appreciate you. I'm going to play our music to send you out. We're working on a video to go with the music, but in the meantime, I usually just show the slides of our dear victims and their families. So peace out. Yay for the Greenbergs. And let's just keep fighting for justice for all of the victims that we're following on Social Change Warriors, Just Us. Thanks, everyone. Love you so much.
They try to silence the truth we shout, but we're still here, we're still calling out. Corruption hides behind a badge of name. We light the fire, expose the shame. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us. We're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. The stories echo, the pain runs deep. For stolen lives we can't just weep. Elected power, but their hearts are cold. We'll bring the truth, let it be told. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight. The heavy wounds, undo the harm. Calling out corruption, we'll stand tall for justice and truth.